He's like, my wife and I went in to Jeffrey Epstein's house in 2005 pre-conviction, and he showed us this massage table. And we said, this is the disgusting man. We will never speak with, interact, nor be around him ever again. Within 1 year, there are emails released. Jeffrey, my wife and our children would love to come to your little island.
Welcome back to Macrodosing. It is Thursday. It is February 19th, and today's episode is brought to you by our great friends over at Quince. I was rocking some Quince the other day. I had the polo shirt on. One of the cleanest pairs of chinos that I own come from Quince. Great polos, great sweaters. They got cashmere sweaters. They've got premium materials, thoughtful designs, everyday staples. They're easy to wear, easy to rely on. Even as the weather changes, they've got the essentials that you love with quality that lasts. So we're talking cotton sweaters, polos, light jackets. If it's changing seasons, it's about to be light jacket season. Re-up with Quince. They've got quality clothing. They cut out the middlemen. So they partner directly with top factories. They cut out the middleman so you're not paying for the brand markup. Everything is built to hold up to daily wear and still look good season after season. Refresh your wardrobe with Quince. Go to quince.com/dose. Get free shipping on your order. 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. QUINCE.com/dose. Free shipping, 365-day returns. Quince.com/dose. Check it out today. All right, we're back on Macrodosing. It is Thursday. It's February 19th. And Big T, what's going on with Iran?
Well, we have two massive stories today. We could start with either.
Okay.
So you have, we might be at war with Iran. Mm-hmm. If you want to start there, understand. There's another big story, though. A federal judge has ruled that boneless wings can be called wings. So which of those would you like to take first?
I mean, this sounds like a bunch of bullshit. Boneless wings are not wings.
You don't agree with Judge John J. Tharp Jr.?
John J. Tharp? No, I do not. I will defend to death his right to say it, but I disagree with what he says.
Yeah, in a suit against Buffalo Wild Wings, a guy said that they can't call boneless wings wings. The judge has ruled. He claims he thought boneless wings were real chicken wings with the bones removed. He says Buffalo Wild Wings products should be called something different.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, that wasn't the... A reasonable consumer would not think that Buffalo Wild Wings boneless wings were truly deboned chicken wings reconstituted into some sort of Franken wing. That is what the judge concluded.
Well, I disagree with the judge because I feel like a wing is a thing.
I do see that argument.
Right? Like if you were to say that we sell a chicken burger, but it's just a chicken breast, that wouldn't be a burger, would it?
I think that is what they call it in England, though.
A chicken burger?
Any sandwich is a burger, yeah.
Well, that we're talking about it in America.
I understand.
If you sold a chicken burger in the United States, it would the reasonable thought would be that it would be like ground chicken that's formed into a patty.
Do you think a half chicken sandwich, half burger could go crazy?
Oh.
Like a double cheeseburger, but one of the patties is a chicken sandwich.
Yeah.
Mincing meat.
Would that work?
Like a beef patty and then a chicken patty on top? Hell yeah, that'll work.
I don't know. There's certain meats that don't. It's tough to have a meat as a condiment for another meat. Like bacon. You can put bacon on another meat and it gets along fine.
Bro.
Agreed, it's a compliment.
So when you go to hibachi, right, what is the main thing they do? They got the surf and turf, right? You can get the shrimp in steak. You can get the lobster in steak. You can get the lobster steak and chicken. All that with fried rice.
I would argue the seafood is not traditional meat.
Why would you argue that?
Because it's more of it's seafood.
It's a plus.
It's a different thing.
Yeah, it's meat plus.
How are we defining meat?
I mean, yes, by the technical definition it is, but you can see what I'm saying. It's not as close as beef and chicken.
I feel like this is a feel thing that I'm not.
Yeah, in my opinion, it's like one. You got to have one that's leading the dance. and one that's going along for it. So if you got a burger with bacon on it, the burger's leading.
1,000%.
And the bacon is following and complementing.
You want a side dish to your main dish.
Yeah. If you're doing surf and turf, the main dish is the steak, and then you've got the backup dancers, the shrimp. But they're part of the same production. If you're doing chicken and beef at the same time, that's like having two lead singers in a band.
So you think it couldn't work?
I think it would.
If you have two quarterbacks, you don't have one.
Right. That's probably a better way to put it. There are some bands that have two lead singers, but it doesn't always work. You need somebody that's the lead singer and then somebody that's doing backup. Or
overload, as you're saying. It'll be an overload.
Yeah, like a big piece of chicken and then a big piece of steak next to each other. I think that's fine if you have them on different plates, but you can't have it it's not the same meal. This town ain't big enough for the two of them.
Interesting.
All right, so Iran, we're at war.
Yeah, war with Iran. By the way, fuck that judge. That judge is an idiot. It's not wings if it doesn't have. It's got to have bones to be wings. So what is the Pentagon pizza tracker telling us, Big T? That's what I
haven't checked it today, although that has been proven to be bullshit, but we'll check it out.
I did look at some of the posts that you sent over regarding possible war with Iran. There's a lot of planes. We got a lot of birds in the air right now. We've got 22 tankers, 13 transport aircraft like the Hercules, and we've got an E-3 AWACS, which is pretty standard. Like we've got AWACS on constant patrol in that part of the world. So I don't know if there's more AWACS that are traveling around right now, but we do have a lot of tankers and a lot of transport aircraft, the exact things that you would want and need to be mobile if you were planning a large-scale operation and needed to do air-to-air refueling. So it does seem like that's not an operation you would typically launch just like in terms of training because it's expensive.
Did you read those 4chan posts?
I did not read the 4chan posts.
So these, I guess, were from a few days ago. From someone on 4chan. I posted yesterday with a 36-hour timeline. We're now in the 24-hour window. Look for a significant number of Iranian leadership to be exterminated. The leadership of Iran is made up of a secret council of 22 military and political leaders who meet regularly in a bunker in Tehran. One of their members is a Mossad agent. Needless to say, this group goes first. Israel knows after the last few years this is the time to end this shit show, and tactical nukes will take out most of Iran's missile infrastructure in the first strike. Tehran will go in the first wave with a false flag attack set up for Israel to kick things off. Venezuela was a test for what is happening. A large part of the Iranian military and leadership will be vaporized in the opening salvos.
So this person is saying that there's one member of the Revolutionary Guard or the High Council that is a Mossad agent, a turncoat that
That's what they said.
Giving themselves up and saying, hey, we're having the big meeting, the big secret meeting, we're all together. It's going to take place at this time, this location.
Maybe. I don't know.
I've been watching a lot of the TV show Tehran recently. Have you even heard of that? Because I hadn't heard about it until maybe a month ago, but it came out in like 2023 for the first time. It's still going. It's on Apple TV. I'm hooked on it. And this sounds like this is just a plot out of Tehran.
Once a year, someone recommends you an Apple TV show, and I've never heard of one being bad.
Yeah,
everybody always loves the Apple TV stuff.
It's a good show if you like espionage, if you like political thrillers. There's a lot of subtitles, so it's almost like you're reading a book because I think the show's in like 3 different languages. It's in Farsi, Hebrew, and English. Maybe some more, but all this stuff is just like it sounds like it's an episode of Tehran. And in this other post that you sent over, they're saying they're expecting 50 fighter jets in the next 24 hours, F-35s, F-22s, and F-16s. If you'd like, I can break down a little analysis of what each aircraft would be expected to do.
I think we have to.
Okay, so
take us to the moon, big dog.
All right, so these are strictly, not strictly, but these are primarily air-to-air combat aircraft right here, the F-35s, the F-22s, and the F-16s. I would imagine that the F-35s would be the advanced scouts. We'd send them as close into enemy territory as we could. The goal of those F-35s would be to identify any surface-to-air missiles or anti-aircraft missile locations. It would then paint those with its radar, mark them on radar. Then we'd send up the F-16s and the F-22s behind that. The F-16s would fire their anti-radiation missiles at the targets that the F-35s have already designated. Meanwhile, the F-22s are up in the sky providing air cover and shooting down any aircraft that even start to take off. That seems like that would be a winning strategy that pretty much couldn't fail. That's why you pay all that money for the F-35 and the F-22. But that would also just imply that we're taking out surface-to-air missiles and then we're going to like do an invasion of Iran. Is that what,
is that
what they're saying? We're going to invade?
Well, that's what I was going to say. Where's your pizza tracker account?
It did indicate last night that there was higher activity than usual at the Domino's near MacDill Air Force Base, which is where CENTCOM is. Can you tell us about CENTCOM, PFT?
CENTCOM is Central Command.
And that's different than the Pentagon?
It's different than it's a Central Command.
That's all you got?
That's all I got, yeah.
Okay. Let's look into CENTCOM.
That's one of those rooms that has a giant screen that's a map of the world that everyone stares at from their computers, and then you've got guys that stand up and point at it.
Is a unified combatant command headquartered at MacDill Air Force Base in Tampa, Florida. It directs military operations in 20-plus nations across the Middle East, Central and South Asia, and surrounding waters.
Okay.
Sounds like what would take care of this kind of deal.
It sounds like it, yeah. So I don't know if I don't know what this all means. If we're just going to try to bomb the leadership, like that random dude on the message board said. I don't know. We'll see. I don't think we're at war right now, but we could be by this time tomorrow. What do you think, Big T?
I don't know, man. Well, we did take out like a high-ranking Iranian dude once before.
Yeah. He was like their rock star. He was like their national
I can't imagine
icon.
If we take out 20 of them, they'd be thrilled. But have you seen? They're talking shit.
Yeah, that's what they do.
Have you seen them today?
I didn't see them today.
They're kind of like come and take it.
Yeah, that's
which, Lord willing, everything is fine and there are no lives lost in whatever takes place. But that kind of makes you want to go get them. Right?
They're kind of asking for it. I think what they have to do is they're unpopular amongst the people that they rule, so they have to really lean into like, yeah, I dare you try. I wish you would try something in the United States because you are the great Satan and we will wipe you off the face of the earth. They have to lean into that rhetoric heavy in order to maintain the control and the power that they have. Because the second they start to look weak, then all the people high up start to like turn on each other. It all kind of crumbles. Yeah, it's funny seeing people post pictures of like pre-revolution Iran, because it was like a very, very different country before the revolution. But all the pictures are just like, I can't believe how hot all these Iranian chicks were back in the 1950s. Like, look at this picture of this hot Iranian chick from 1954. That's really what they're leaning into, which is, I got to be honest, it's great propaganda. Like if
you can't find it anymore.
If you want red-blooded American males to take the side of your cause, your revolution, or be like, look how hot these chicks were in the 1950s.
That's soft power.
And they went to college. They were in sororities. They listened to the same music you did, and they were hot. You're missing the fact they were hot. And now America's like, you know what? They really were hot. We should do something about that. We should do something. Get the F-22s up there. What else we got? What else we got today, Big T?
We did Boneless Wings.
Heated rivalry?
Yeah, Madeline, I know your favorite show. Are you familiar with the reverse heated rivalry that's going on in real life right now?
I've seen whispers of it. It's like hockey exes are playing each other in the gold medal game.
No, but not even exes. They broke up during the Olympics.
Oh no.
They just broke up.
Mackenzie, this
like
is good.
yesterday.
And they're,
oh my god.
So
did they break up for the game?
Well, if you'll
Maybe they're on a
notice,
break.
if you'll take a look in your screen, there is parentheses that says T is calling that this is fake for promo.
Yes.
Wait, so it's
I can see that.
an American woman and a Canadian woman.
That's correct.
who were dating on their respective hockey teams who broke up.
Reportedly, yes.
What are their names?
This post has been deleted.
Yeah, there was an Instagram live video of one of them. I'm not sure if it was the American or the Canadian saying, "Yeah, I'm single."
Do we know that? Can I have a name?
That'd be great if you could find them.
I would I would think this is a
awesome.
good strategy. If you are dating somebody that's on the team you're about to play in, you have to break up for that game. Right? Dump her right before the game. Maybe get back together afterwards.
I mean, Hillary Knight, I think, is an American woman, and she started seeing someone at the last Olympics, and they just got engaged yesterday at this Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
This says U.S. defender Caroline Harvey and Team Canada forward Daryl Watts. That's who it is.
Look, hockey is how can you not be romantic about hockey?
That's a great point.
That's what everyone always says.
That's awesome, though. The Olympics, I know you said the other day the Olympics has no juice. There's been a lot of interesting romance subplots happening in these Olympic Games that I am having a lot of fun watching.
Okay, go on.
The guy who got bronze and then declared that he cheated on his girlfriend.
Yeah, weird.
In his post match.
Yeah, that was weird.
And then she told him,
like, I can't forgive you.
Yeah,
like
forget
basically,
it.
fuck off.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Why would he put me in this position?"
Yeah. So
Wait,
there's
time
that.
out. I missed this. There's a dude who won.
He got
And
he got a bronze medal in,
Okay.
I believe, a certain skiing event.
Yeah.
And his post-race interview, they were like, how do you feel? And he basically used that time to say, I made the biggest mistake of my life last week. I cheated on my girlfriend. And I'm so sorry. I would do anything to get her back. And kept talking about it at his press conference. And then the girlfriend, she basically made a statement. She was anonymous, but she made a statement being like, what you did is unforgivable. And you have now put me in this insane position where you have just thrown this dirty laundry out there for the world. Mm-hmm. So that happened.
Wow.
Breezy Johnson, who is the number one skier from the U.S., she got engaged after one of her runs, on the bottom of a run. Like I said, the two women got engaged yesterday who started dating at the last Olympics. This heated rivalry thing. Then there's a lot there. Not two Olympians, but Chloe Kim and Myles Garrett have been a treat to watch.
Mm-hmm.
And he was wearing her face on a shirt. I think that's great. The Winter Olympics have been very, very romantic, I think.
Logan Paul.
I noticed you skipped one.
Oh, Jake Paul and
Yeah,
Juta?
Jake Paul.
Well, yeah, them too. Look, I don't like Jake Paul, but them too. They're a part of this in terms of, I think Myles Garrett is a superior partner. But either way, Juta, she won gold. Jake Paul had a crying fit in the stands. I think there's a lot of romance in the games, I think, and that brings people together. And then Michaela Schifrin, who's another American women's skier.
Yep.
She's engaged to I want to say Swedish or Norwegian, one of those countries, a skier in his own right as well. So I think it's just interesting how many romances play out on the world stage like that.
I think if you are a dominant athlete at a niche sport, you spend a lot of your time around other dominant athletes at their niche sports because your main events are usually at the same places.
Right.
You probably train in the same climates, communities.
Oh, Madison Chalk and Evan Bates, they're ice skaters who are married. The American ice skaters who are married. They've been partners for 16 years, and for the first 11 years, they were completely platonic. And then he admitted he was in love with her, and now they're married.
What a moment that must have been.
Mm-hmm.
I have to know how he.
Is that the one that the documentary is out?
Yes.
Yeah.
And he
you
said
can, watch it. They
he
talk
said
about it.
I think he blurted out "I love you" after one of their performances, and he was like, "Well, I've done it now, haven't I?" And then she was like, I don't know. And then she was like, wait a second, maybe I do love you too. And now they're married.
Or I don't want to put this on them if it's not correct. Are they the ones that stunk it up?
They're the ones that got silver, and France won, and it was like a.
They're in love though, Big
But
T.
but
they won
were,
the real
they didn't
gold
stink it up.
medal.
They didn't stink it up.
but they
the
messed
judges,
up more than they were. Like they were supposed to be unbeatable and they lost.
No, that's the quad god. I think you're referring to. These people.
Is he a figure skater?
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe. Is he
yes.
American?
Yes.
There was an American figure skater who was supposed to be unbeatable and stunk.
That's the quad
That
god.
was-
That's
yeah.
Ilya Malinin.
Okay.
Yes. And Amber Glenn, who is a female women's figure skater from America, she also had a less than satisfactory performance yesterday. But Madison Chalk and Evan Bates, they got silver to a French team that also has icky romantic pasts, possibly. And then they're married.
Okay.
But I think a lot of those ice dancer like pairs are
I want to go back
sexually charged.
I want to go back to the duo that was together for 11 years professionally before the guy said anything about it. Because I would have to imagine that in that scenario, divulging your long-held love for your partner is you probably have a conversion rate of about like 1% on those types of stories, right?
Oh, I feel like it'd be higher. You think? You don't think?
I feel like it would be more of a progress. Like if you guys were attracted to each other, you would have at least dabbled at some point in the past, right?
Yeah.
Let's say two people they're young, elite athletes. They're both early 20s, and they're attracted to each other. They're working together 8 hours a day,
right.
holding each
dating.
other,
Yeah.
throwing each other up in the air. At some point, you're going to show interest in the other person.
Right. And also, I got the numbers wrong. It was not 11 years before he said anything. It was 5. But still.
That's still a
5
long
years.
time. Still a long time to be. Maybe they were both dating somebody, and then they
Maybe.
both became single.
I think also when you're that elite of an athlete and you have like a partner of that nature, for that, you're like, I'm not here to date you. I'm here to win a gold medal. Like, you're not even. She was like, I wasn't even focused on him like that. Like, I was too busy skating with him.
Yeah, they're almost an obstacle.
Yeah.
Like I have to figure out how to not let you cost me a gold medal.
Right, because then, and I also learned that several of the pairs that were in the Olympics are like exes. Like a lot of ex-partners still skate together because they tried.
Yeah.
And it didn't work out, but then you're like, well, we've skated together 12 years or, whatever.
You're also the best. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know me, I know you, so we kind of have to just work through that as well.
Yeah.
I would think it'd be the worst setup if that's your husband or wife and you're just watching them be intimately intertwined with someone else.
What would be the worst sport for you to watch your significant other participate in?
That's up there.
Ice dancing, figure skating?
Because there's not that many sports that are like co-ed partnership like that.
Yeah.
That's got to be high up there. Or like dance in general,
Dance,
I guess.
competitive dance.
Dancing with the Stars.
Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do they do mixed volleyball?
I don't think they do. Now that I think
I
about
don't
it.
know.
I think they do. I don't know about in a winter. Definitely not a winter,
Well,
right?
no.
But
Do they
in
do
summer, I
combined
think
beach
they do.
volleyball?
Because after every point in volleyball, it's like mandatory that you get together and everyone just hits each other's butt.
Yeah.
Okay, good job. Here's your butt. Okay, cool. Next point.
I don't know if they do it like
I don't think they do
professionally.
combined. Yeah, no. Yeah, it's just your
It's just like
co-ed, like
Yeah.
beer league.
recreational.
But in the Olympics, it is not combined sport. It's single-gendered.
What's going on with this this USA/Chinese skier?
Oh, Eileen Gu?
Eileen Gu. I remember learning about her 4 years ago, and then I banished her to a part of my brain that I only accessed during the Winter Olympics. And so I'm trying to bring her back. If I remember, she's a traitor.
Yes, I believe. I believe that's what you would call her in this scenario. She was born and raised American, Chinese American, goes to Stanford, grew up, I believe, in California, a free skier, and I don't know, would it be abjected and is skiing for China?
What's the difference? Like abject, defected?
Or defected, yeah. Maybe that's, yeah. And is skiing for China instead of America, even though she was born and raised in America, goes to school in America, I believe her parents are immigrants.
Right.
And yeah, chooses to
So she
ski for the Chinese.
She competed for the United States at the World Cup in 2018, 2019.
Okay. She's also 22, like now, so she's young.
Yeah.
So 8 years ago, she was 14, 15.
No disrespect to this young woman, and this is more soccer than anything else that I want this to happen in. But her specific, so she competed for the United States and is now with China. Banned, done. You get one country, and it has, and I would prefer it's the country you're born in. This, because soccer's the worst about this.
Yeah.
I mean, France, how many of the French soccer team are from France? Like 3 or 4 of them?
I would very much like it if Messi were to defect to the United States.
I mean, he lives here.
He lives here. He's as American as some of the other guys.
It should you get to play for the country where you were born, and that's that.
What do you think about now, like, you got some sports like baseball in the Olympics, and God bless the Italians. They don't have a lot of, native homegrown Italians.
Then don't play baseball.
What about some of the guys that are in Major League Baseball?
They're not Italian.
That might have an Italian grandfather.
No, you get to play where you were born.
What about Jake Malasek?
You get to play for the country you're from.
So what should happen to a guy like Jake Malasek?
Yeah. Jake Malasek's trying to go to
Now an
2028.
Olympian.
I'm aware.
What should happen to
He's
Jake?
flying all over the world playing with a lacrosse team for a country that he only goes to play lacrosse. And I love Jake. But we the answer to where do you draw the line is always somewhere. And I'm choosing to draw the line at you get to play for the country where you're from.
I think that's a reasonable take, Big T.
Because now we get into these situations where, my mother's father is Canadian, so, whatever.
Yeah, if you just want to be in the Olympics and you might not have the ability. But a lady like Eileen Gu, she clearly had the ability. She could have been on the U.S. team.
She was.
She was on the U.S. And she is, I'm getting a notification she just won a silver medal. That's a shame.
Yeah.
That's a shame that she got the silver.
She got 2 silvers this Olympics and has become the most decorated women free skier in history. And I believe British reporter asked her, do you view this Olympics as 2 golds lost or 2 silvers won? And she was like, what the fuck, dude?
Great question.
That's a great question.
That's a fantastic
She was
question.
like, I am the most decorated free skier in women's history, and you're going to ask me if I just lost 2 golds after I earned 2 silvers?
Yep. That's how you do the media.
Mick Cronin would shoot somebody if they asked him.
Yeah. Mick Cronin. That interview with Mick Cronin was just all-time college football brain. Or sorry, all-time college basketball brain. That's a coach. Mick Cronin is feeling a lot of pressure. He ejected his own player last night from the game. His own player got a technical.
He's had a week, man.
Mick Cronin thought that's deserving of flagrant. Get out. You're out. He ejected his own player. All while, by the way, mind you, Johnny Fanta came on part of my take yesterday. We recorded this on Tuesday afternoon, and Johnny Fanta was like, we've got some college basketball coaches that are losing their minds. I was like, who are you talking about? He's like, Mick Cronin at UCLA. He said that before. Mick Cronin would then go on in the next 8 hours to eject his own player from a game and then scream at a reporter for raising their voice at him when he was simply just asking him a question.
Well, that was he said, the question was, what do you think about the Michigan State students section chanting something at one of the players, I think.
Yeah.
And he goes, you think I give a damn about the student section? Congratulations, that's the dumbest question I've ever been asked. Mm-hmm. And then the reporter's like, oh, okay. Like, I thought it was, I just wanted to. And then he goes, did you just raise your voice at me?
Yeah.
And the guy, like, no, he didn't.
But it's all on tape. Everyone could hear you raise your voice,
right.
Dude. That is a man who is, as the kids would say, he's crashing out.
You know who they almost had instead of Mick Cronin?
At UCLA?
Yeah.
Well, who did they almost get there? I'm trying to remember. That was, 2017? 2019? I don't know. Who?
They had agreed to hire Rick Barnes, and they couldn't, they didn't want to pay the buyout. And it was like done deal. Rick was going to UCLA. And then they didn't end up paying it, and they got Mick Cronin instead.
That would have been a weird fit, I think. Rick Barnes at UCLA.
I think to a man of Rick Barnes' age, that's still like the premier job in college basketball.
True. And that said, Mick Cronin, he hasn't done a bad job at UCLA. If you look at like the totality of it,
He hasn't done a good job.
it's not good right now. It's bad right now. It's very bad right now. But there were a couple really good years for UCLA.
So I guess he was his first year. They went to the fake Final Four, or second year.
Second year, right?
Yeah, because first year got cut short. So yeah, they did go to the fake Final Four.
Didn't they go to the championship game?
No, that was the Jalen Suggs shot. Remember, Jalen Suggs beat him at the buzzer in the Final Four, and then Gonzaga
that's
got
right.
blasted by Baylor.
By Baylor. Yeah, that game was over after like 1 minute.
Yeah.
Canada has just beaten Czechia.
Yeah, I had it pulled up.
So that means that
In overtime.
depending if the U.S. handles business against the Swedes, it will be U.S. against Canada.
No, we'd play
Right.
them in the gold medal game.
Hmm?
We would play them in the gold medal.
Right, if the U.S. handles their business against Sweden.
This is the quarterfinals.
This is the quarterfinals.
Get your puck right.
My puck's wrong. I thought that we handle business against. So who else do we have to beat?
I think the other semifinal or the quarterfinal is Finland against.
Oh no, Crosby got injured?
Yeah.
No. Damn it. That's bad.
It's Finland and somebody that we would play in the semis.
I'm sorry, I'm just broken up about Crosby. That sucks.
How old is Crosby? I feel like he's been around for a while.
Crosby is approximately 39 years old. That's my guess.
Yeah, we both old. Okay.
Yeah.
38.
Yep.
You guys almost have the same birthday, Arian. You're both born in August.
Ah, my fellow Aquarius.
You're not.
You're not Aquarius.
You're not an Aquarius.
You're a Leo.
Yeah.
Do we have a dog update, Aaron?
He is back in training. I have a session with him tomorrow, and she texts us. She usually has 2 packages where she takes him for a month, and then he stays with us for a little while, and he takes us for another month. She hit us. She was like, he's doing so good that I'm suggesting that we condense him. And we I forget her suggestion, but so basically he's outperforming what she thought he was going to do, and he's doing like a really good job. So we're excited about that.
I love that. I love it. Still really cute.
I'm a fucking big dog. He's leaving cute and entering
Beast?
handsome.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
He'll get to Regal one day, too.
That's a regal dog. Someone walked down the street, was like, what a regal
Yeah.
animal you have.
Dog like that dog could flip the switch, go from like adorable to stately in a heartbeat.
It's stately?
Just
That's
stately.
big. Oh, stately.
Stately.
I was gonna say, us stately, they about to kick the bucket.
No, stately. Like this dog could decree something and I would have no choice but to follow it because he's wise. All right, what else we got today? Anything else y'all are burned up about?
Did you see Jack Bauer?
Jack Bauer, starting pitcher.
He came in relief, but I think eventually he'll probably be a starter. Yeah,
Relief pitcher wears number 24.
yeah, throws 100 as a freshman.
That'll be good for the commentators.
I mean, you got to be a beast, right?
Gotta be a beast, yeah.
I think he was the number 1 left-handed pitcher in the country. So,
And you have to wear. I like the confidence that your name's Bauer and you wear 24.
you don't have a choice. 'Cause
No,
if
you do. You do have a choice.
If you didn't, everyone would say, how are you not number 24?
But they'd say that as a joke, and they'd be like, oh, yeah, that'd be kind of funny. But if you go out there and you're like, yeah, I'm that dude. I'm going to wear 24. That, to me, says, like, okay, all right, monster.
And
that's a guy I want closer.
And I mean, he had to have been named with the knowledge that he was being named. If not for that Jack Bauer, they knew about it. Because he was born in, what, 06, 07?
Yeah. Yeah, way after the show came out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, this kid has greatness in his DNA.
Threw 102 as a senior in high school.
That's not safe.
Probably not,
At
but it's awesome.
At some point, like, God bless him. I hope he has a great career. At some point, humans aren't going to be able to throw a ball any faster.
I think we've reached that point.
At some point, humans aren't going to be able to run any faster.
I think it's baked in for baseball teams now. Like, yeah, we're signing Paul Skeens to an 8-year, $300 whatever million deal. We understand 2 of those years he's going to be out.
Yeah,
because it just that's That's the way it is.
God bless his arm.
Usain Bolt, I think about a lot. Like, I don't think we're gonna see that. 30 years.
No,
I'm giving it 30 years. That, bro, was it 1919 in the 2, and in the 100, I think it was 958.
Mm-hmm.
My memory serves me correctly. Yeah, I don't. That shit is just abnormal. A long-legged sprinter.
Mm-hmm.
That's just not. He's just not a normal cat. So yeah, I give it 30 years. I think there'll be a spike here and there though.
Yeah, you'll see some outliers, but at some point, it's just like the human body can't do things
I don't
any
know
faster.
though. That's kind of the nature of evolution though.
Right, but nobody's ever going to be able to run 100 meters in 1 second.
I'm not gonna say never.
What?
I
I'll
can't
say
say
never.
never.
I'll say never.
I don't know. What if our society develops in a way that it is beneficial for humans to run as fast as humanly possible?
It is
It is.
now.
It's not. No, it's not.
I mean, it's
What do you
not
mean?
necessary.
Over half of America's obese.
It's not.
necessary.
It's not necessary, but you can make a lot of money doing it.
Yeah, but it's not necessary. I don't know. Anything can happen with evolution. I don't know. I don't know the limit. It's all on the limits of the DNA and the environment. I don't know that. I can't say that.
You said he
I would
ran
say
a
it's improbable.
9.58 100 meters.
I believe so.
So what would that be in a 40?
Like 3.8 something, 3 something, easy.
Times 40.
But also the scary thing about you
Yeah,
saying was he wasn't the best.
3.83 if meter and yard were exactly the same, which they're not, but they're pretty close.
Yeah. Yeah, he's the fastest man ever walked Earth. I remember one time I was watching. I don't know who it was, man. Usain broke the world record, and like there was an older head who I think it was Maurice Green or something like that. Was an older head who used to have the world record. He was like, yeah, he's young, he's still got a lot to learn. I'm like, can't do that in track. He's the best to ever do it. End of discussion. There's no. He's got a lot. No, he did it. He did what he needed to do. The GOAT.
There is nobody that will. You can say demonstrably, like, nobody's ever eaten more than Joey Chestnut. No one's ever run faster than Usain Bolt in the history of the world. That must be so awesome to be like, I'm faster than anybody that's ever lived, ever.
It's amazing. Yeah, I had a small feeling like that one time after my 2010 season. I led the league in rushing, all-purpose yards, and touchdowns. I was like, I was the best running back in the world. And granted, we were playing the USA, but it was a small little like, yeah, I did. I was the best in the world this year. It is what it is.
Legit, yeah.
Felt good.
All right. Anything else, guys? I love talking to y'all. We got Brace coming on to talk about the Epstein Files and the updates on those, of which there are many twists and turns. And also credit to Brace. There's a lot of people that have become like they've tacked themselves onto the Epstein Files in the last 3 years or so. They've just kind of gone along for the ride of the clout. Brace has been knee deep in this game since before anybody paid attention to it, outside of a couple reporters down in South Florida that did very important work. But like Brace has been all over this with Liz, and subscribe to True Anon and give them all the support that you can. We love Brace, so let's get him on the show. All right, before we get to Brace, he's brought to you by Pebble. Quick question. Are you hiring in another country right now? Because once you do, things can get complicated fast, but that's where Pebble can help. You can send offers in minutes to anyone in the world, get them onboarded fast. Pebble is an AI-powered global human resources platform built for founders, HR leaders, and operators who are hiring and supporting teams all around the world. Pebble helps you hire, pay, and manage talent in over 185 countries. Fast onboarding that can be done in minutes. Instead of juggling separate tools for contracts, payroll, benefits, compliance, Pebble brings everything together with built-in guidance and local expertise to support you. It's especially helpful if you're managing teams internationally or if you're planning to grow. The fastest growing companies in the world use Pebble to stay organized and reduce risk, and founders use it to scale faster without feeling like they need to become HR or compliance experts. The bottom line, it simplifies global people operations so you can spend more time growing the business and supporting your team. Sign up for Pebble for just $399 per month per employee and receive 30% off benefits. Go to highpebble.ai to get a free estimate. That's HIPEBL.ai for a free estimate. And now here's Brace. We welcome back maybe the most special guest in the history of the lore of Macrodosing podcast, Brace Belden. Brace, it's good to see you. You've been a little podcast slut recently. You've been just making the rounds. You've got who's the best? Who do you like being with the best out there?
Oh, it has to be 100% Macrodosing
That's
podcast.
such a lie. Don't lie to us. Don't lie to us, Brace.
Who's the best?
I know you tell Pablo Torre that same thing.
No, well, I don't speak to him when I go in there. It's not like here where we joke around and we talk a little beforehand. No, I go in there. I don't look him in the eyes. I look off to the screen and I just do my job.
Okay.
I only feel comfortable with you guys.
Yeah, that's business when you're on with Pablo. With us, there's like that deep connection.
It's pure pleasure.
Yes. Well, we're glad that you're back on. There's been a lot of shit happening, and I was just talking to Zach, one of the guys that works here at Barstool, and he was like, so how much of the stuff that's coming out about the Epstein Files is real and how much is fake? I was like, that is entirely dependent on what corner of the internet you're looking through. Like, how are you holding up the prism of social media to your eye? Which angle are you looking at? That is going to be 100% determinative of whether or not you're looking at stuff that's actually in the files or just stuff that people are whipping up out of Photoshop for shit posting. I've noticed that if the For You page on X.com, the everything app, it's all happening on X, the For You page is like 50-50 Photoshops and then other real stuff. So I can understand why a lot of people have been seeing these 3 million documents that came out, and they're like, I have no idea which ones are real and which ones aren't.
It has been sort of an extraordinary look into the various quadrants of American society. I guess various would be the 4 quadrants of American society, but I don't want to detail them here. But into the various sectors of American society as to what they're focusing on, because Pizzagate came back in a big way. Some of the QAnon stuff has come back, but it never really went away, but it's definitely coming back a little bit. And then you have guys like Ted Lieu, I can't stand this guy. He loves a press conference, going out there and being like, Donald Trump ate a baby. And I think it really is where there's warring factions of who thinks, if you think Hillary Clinton ate a baby, or if you think Donald Trump ate a baby, or if you think no baby is being eaten at all.
Yeah.
It's impossible they both ate one.
What if they shared a baby?
I'm going to say this right now, Big T. I don't know. I can't say for sure, and you can never be for sure. But it doesn't seem like anyone ate a baby here. But people are going totally crazy. And I think
now, when you say baby, do you just mean any human or just baby?
I'm going to go ahead and say I think cannibalism was not high on the list of these guys' pleasures. But I think a baby in particular. Also, what's the point of eating a baby? It's so small. It's like a chicken wing, you know? There's
Yikes.
hardly anything there. It's mostly bone. No, I don't know how many bones babies have, but it has been crazy to see. And it is, I think that this is kind of an unprecedented situation where this many documents related to a story that's this hot have come out with this little context and this many redactions. And so there's all these sort of individual puzzles that people are doing. And these, it's like crossword puzzles that they're filling in for themselves without really that many clues. And it's led to a lot of confusion.
A lot of confusion out there. Ton of confusion. And I think even some of the members of Congress are getting confused by it, because it's almost like they are now in their own clout chase to be the first, because we get this massive dump of documents. There's no possible way that anybody can process these or begin to process and determine which are the important documents, which ones aren't. Like, you can't do that in a day or two. That's going to take months, and it's going to take like everybody, like thousands of people going through it independently. But you've got some people in Congress that are very thirsty and trying to get like their takes to the front of the line. And I think Ro Khanna has done a pretty good job. I think that Massey has done. They've both been relatively consistent with wanting to just like force as much of this stuff to the light as possible. But then they got a little bit over their skis and they started reading the names because they went into the skiff and they were able to see the unredacted names. And it turns out that some of the names that were redacted because they were in police lineups. They were like, I don't know if they were volunteers for police lineups or if they were criminals that got, brought into the lineup. I don't know how that works in New York City. If that's a day job that you can have where you just, you volunteer to be in a police lineup twice a week and you get $100. But yeah, some of those names got out there and then like, oh shit, yeah, well maybe we should be a little bit more careful with who we actually name. But yeah, then there's a whole back and forth with the Clintons. And where do we stand on that? The Clintons, they're in a big game of chicken with Congress right now to see if they're going to provide testimony.
Yeah.
Is that what's up?
As far as I last checked, the Clintons, and I hope they get to do it together and sit next to each other.
That'd be cute, wouldn't it?
Because just maybe it'll rekindle a little bit of a flame. Maybe they'll have, as we were talking about prior to recording, maybe they'll have sex in a restroom of a, some large department store or a chain Mexican restaurant afterwards. Yeah. But they, I believe, are going to do a video testimony behind closed doors. And I think what they want to do, and I might be wrong on this, I don't have it in front of me. I think what they want to do is they want to do a open door testimony, meaning, or I think they want to just do it in front of Congress. Les Wexner, I think, is being deposed either today or later this week. There's a lot of movement happening here. I don't know if it's really going to amount to much. I don't think I don't know if people are assuming that Bill Clinton's going to come out here and be like, yep, I'm in front of Congress. I got to tell the truth. Me and Jeffrey fuck kids together, Yeah. I didn't think it was wrong. I can't do really a Bill accent here, but the pressure is sort of on them. I don't know really because you got to zoom out and think of the political game that's being played here, right? I doubt many of the people, like I think it's Comer that's calling Clinton up, really think that they're about to crack the case with Bill Clinton or whatever. But I think it's a way to use the Epstein Files to damage the opposing political party. Now, I'm not so sure how, obviously Bill and Hillary are very associated with the Democrats, but I'm not really so sure what lasting damage that will have to the party. And the reality is that people both at the top echelons of the Democrat Party, or who are once the top echelons of the Democratic Party, and in the current administration, kind of basically did the same shit with Jeffrey Epstein.
Right.
And so it's a game of chicken that kind of everybody is playing right now, it seems like.
If I was Bill Clinton, and let's say Bill Clinton is completely he's innocent of any crimes as it pertains to hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein. I'm sure he's guilty of a great many crimes throughout his days. But in this instance, let's say he's got truly nothing to be worried about. Very unlikely, but hypothetically, he's got to hate Donald Trump, right? He has to hate Trump based on the fact that Bill Clinton was this close to getting Hillary out of his hair for 8 years, and then Trump comes along, and now she doesn't have a job. She's at home all the time. They hate each other. He's got to hate Trump just for that reason. If I was Bill Clinton, I'd just be like, Donald gave me head. It was the best. Yeah. I gave him a blowjob too.
That testimony was correct.
Yeah. I would perjure myself and just be like, yeah, listen, me and Donald, we fucked all the time and just mutually assured destruction. Let's all go down with this ship right now, Donald.
Where are we at with that rumor? With the Donald and Billy rumor?
I am going ahead and saying, as somebody who obviously didn't believe it at all, now I'm like, yeah, you know what? Things happen, you have a couple of Aperol spritzes, it's maybe Hillary's out on the town with Huma having the rumored lesbian relationship together. Maybe it's time to just, I don't know, getting your dick sucked by a guy isn't that gay.
I think,
it's within the margin of error. No, if you're think about it like this, if you're a guy like Bill Clinton and you've had sex with so many women throughout your life, rumored, one blowjob from a guy isn't really going to affect the score that much. I'm not a Moneyball guy. Actually, I am a Moneyball guy. I'm a Moneyball guy. And we look at the average here, right? We look at the averages of bats to the misses. And if you get millions of home runs and you get one bunt,
Yeah.
You know, it's like it's not really affecting the average that much.
It's an outlier.
Are you a bunter?
Are you a bunter? He got a little bit of bunt from Donald.
Yeah.
And it's gayer, obviously. And there's nothing wrong with this. I'm just saying objectively, it's gayer to suck a dick. It just, I mean, and again, that's not putting a moral judgment on that. It just is. And so Donald Trump, he is doing mutually assured destruction, but it's like if one country had 1 billion nuclear missiles and another country only had 1 million. You know what I'm saying? And so like, if Donald Trump is Russia or something in this case, Russia's annihilated, but America, most of it's just annihilated.
Yeah.
You know?
You got to be first to market with the blowjob talk so that you can make sure that you're the one getting the blowjob.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Precisely. But I think Trump's his entire handling of this has been so strange that I would not be surprised if tomorrow Donald Trump was just like, yeah, you know what? Actually, Bill sucked my dick.
Yeah.
It might have happened.
It's been, I was thinking about that going back all the way to like the mid 2000s when he's on the radio and he's saying like, yeah, Jeffrey Epstein, listen, it's no secret around town. He likes a good time and he likes women. Some are said to be even younger than the ones that I like. Like Trump was definitely, that was not just him gassing up his buddy Jeffrey. That was him, like, as he likes to do, doing a little warning shot out there in public. Like, hey, I'm going to compliment you, but just so you know some bad shit about you.
Yeah.
There was that goes all the way back. That was like, what, mid 2000s, I think. And then him going to the sheriff at some point and saying, like, Jeffrey Epstein, bad guy, but Ghislaine, she is the worst. She's evil. You need to look into her. Then the rumors that Trump was like wearing a wire or he was doing some informant work. But that doesn't seem like it was with the FBI. That seems like it was the local sheriff's department. So I don't know if they had the budget to like strap him up with a microphone and send him into Mar-a-Lago or whatever. And then it seemed like things were okay, at least behind the scenes, between Epstein and Trump for a while. Epstein was advising some of his closest advisors, like he was working with Bannon. And there was a lot of ties in between who Epstein was talking to and the people that were close with Trump. And then something happened where Trump was like, arrest this guy now, or the DOJ. The DOJ, something happened. And I don't know. I don't feel like it's crazy to think that Trump in his first term was attempting to be the guy that was in charge of the DOJ like he has been now, like exerting that level of power. He might have still been like playing nice with the norms at the time. But I have to imagine that Jeffrey Epstein doesn't get arrested without Trump's sign off on it, right?
You'd think. I mean, if it's functioning even halfway like the DOJ is functioning now, you'd think so. I mean, it does seem like Bill Barr had carved out a little fiefdom within the Trump administration.
Right.
But, you know, you have to remember that none of this would have happened. This is what blows my mind so much. None of this would have happened if Trump had not gotten nominated and then gotten Alex Acosta to be the labor secretary. Because Alex Acosta, who negotiated that plea deal on behalf of the federal government, where Epstein just faced state charges for sex crimes. This investigation was sort of quashed. People from the government side ended up working for and with Jeffrey Epstein later. And if he had negotiated that plea deal, which also gave Epstein's unnamed co-conspirators immunity, then there wouldn't have been this perversion of justice series that came out in the Miami Herald. This wouldn't have led to all these questions about Acosta's performance during the plea deal, his resignation, and then this sort of like firestorm. I mean, that is what kicked off the investigation that eventually got Jeffrey Epstein arrested. It is like Trump pushing over one domino or stepping on one little butterfly, and then all of these cascading effects happen to the point where now this is the biggest national news story. What, 7 years? 6 years.
I feel like this is...
Don't do that, Biggie. I see you doing that.
Yeah, you did it. You forced him. That was entrapment.
I don't have a choice.
You're right. Yeah, fair enough. Because you're what, 19?
Yeah.
28 years old.
That's the same thing.
Yeah, you're youth maxing though. You look young.
But it's just crazy because it's these years after Jeffrey Epstein's death. It is just like it's not going away. You know.
Yeah.
It's come back bigger than ever.
The man who wouldn't die.
That's what Trump called it.
That's what Trump called it.
And I just can't believe how completely bungled this has been from the beginning. Because the reason that all of these documents are being released like this is because Trump, who had promised to release the Epstein files, entrusted this to Pam Bondi, who had such a botched rollout back a year ago in last February, where she handed out those stupid fucking binders. And because of the backlash against that, now we have this. And it's led to Tom Pritzker having to resign. It's led to Peter Mandelson being investigated for criminally in the UK. Kathy Rumler, and this one hurt because obviously, I work for Goldman part-times, having to resign as lead counsel for Goldman Sachs.
Yeah, that's tough.
It's a massacre.
So yeah, let's talk about Kathy Rumler, because I was not very familiar with her game. She was a lawyer for Barack Obama. Was she an official White House attorney?
Yeah,
official White House.
She was White House counsel, but I don't exactly know what her job. Yeah, deputy White House counsel, and then just regular White House counsel. So she's like the lawyer who's advising Barack Obama. So she referred to Epstein as Uncle Jeffrey. That was like her pet name for him. Sounds like they were pretty close. Yeah.
So there was one email that said, "I'm working on a PR strategy for MJ White v. Elizabeth Warren." And then Epstein reported, "Good. MJ is good." And Rumler said, "Yes. And EW is the worst." So they were having like behind the scenes conversations on how to deal with like Democrat infighting at the time. Also, quick aside, Jeffrey Epstein might have been the worst typer in American history. Like just in terms of,
I think it's intentional.
Speed? Is he going for speed?
But they're all, even the people who send emails to him, they're written weirdly like that. I don't know if it's a code or something, but I think they were writing weird on purpose.
If you're talking about the weird formatting stuff, and apologies, my internet might be a little bad right now. If you're talking about the weird formatting stuff, that is an error in uploading the files. But Rumler's shit is crazy because not only was she getting advice from Jeffrey Epstein and advising Jeffrey Epstein, she seems to be having an affair, an active affair with Jeffrey Epstein's lawyer that he was kind of like overseeing. There's a distinct possibility of a devil's threesome, a so-called devil's threesome, between Jeffrey Epstein, his lawyer Reed Weingarten, and Goldman Sachs chief counsel Catherine Rumler.
Yeah. This is crazy. It touches everybody. There was that guy, Brad Karp. Have you read about what Brad Karp was up to?
Oh my God. He just had to resign, right?
Yeah, so he resigned. He was, what law firm? It was Paul Weiss, Rifkind, Wharton, and Garrison. Sounds pretty prestigious. So right before Epstein got arrested, he had like the most important project that he was working on at the time was trying to get Brad Karp around at Augusta National Golf Club. And so he and Steve Bannon were teamed up together trying to get Karp into there. I don't think they ever got him in before he got arrested. I would just like to see a behind-the-scenes documentary of Epstein and Steve Bannon trying to figure out which levers to pull, which wheels to grease at Augusta to get Brad Karp around there. Because at some point, you just get so much money that you have to develop these side quests. And I think a lot of guys, the final boss of side quest is just like, get me around at Augusta.
Is it that hard?
Yeah. Yeah, very hard. So they didn't let women golf there until like, I want to say
15 years ago.
2005, 2007.
Post 9/11?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And Brace, guess who the first female member was?
I could not even imagine.
You could.
Yeah, you could. You could. You're on the right track already.
2005. Post
9/11.
It is going to be Ghislaine Maxwell.
No.
In a more official capacity.
In a more official capacity. I'm trying to think of famous women, but unfortunately, I'm so
pretty
not
famous woman.
sexist that it's difficult for me. Is she not famous?
No,
she's
she's
a woman we
pretty
know?
famous.
Very famous.
She's famous. Let me
Powerful.
see. And she golfs or she just likes to be in a club?
She does golf. She's not known for golfing, but she does play.
She was known at one time for another sport endeavor.
Yes. And somewhat still to this day.
This is
But not her
way off
most
the track.
official.
You might recognize most of her official business in the United States government.
in the United States government. Oh, it's got to be who was the lady? You know, I'm talking about. She was in George Bush.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Connie.
Really?
Connie.
Really?
Condoleezza Rice was the first.
It was Condoleezza Rice.
She was the first female member at Augusta National. Yeah.
There we go.
They're like, okay, we'll give you one.
Granted, you guys had to give me a lot of hints, but that's She's a good. What other sport did she do?
So she's
Jerry Rice. Dead name, but she.
Brace. I don't even know how to begin telling you this story.
Jerry Rice is black. I assumed he was white because of the name.
So Condoleezza Rice right now, she is the part owner of the Denver Broncos. She's in an ownership group with like the Waltons, the Walmart family. I think Peyton Manning might be in that group too. But so she's got like a small percentage that she's tied up there. But back in 2017, I believe,
sounds right.
the Cleveland Browns, they fired their coach, as they are wont to do. That's, they typically do that once every year and a half, 2 years, Mad Dog?
Yeah, that's usually
so
the cycle.
So they fired their coach, and then Adam Schefter, who is the number one newsbreaker in terms of NFL news online, he tweeted out, because it's a coaching search, and part of his job is to be like, the Cleveland Browns are now interviewing Greg Williams to see if he will be a fit for their head coaching position. He tweets this type of stuff out. One day he tweeted out, the Cleveland Browns are expected to interview Condoleezza Rice for their head coach position. This is real. And apparently the Browns were considering it, even though Condoleezza Rice has never coached football. I don't think she's ever played football. I don't think she's ever coached a sport. She didn't have any ties to the NFL. But there was somebody in the Browns organization that wanted to hire Condoleezza Rice to be the head coach of the Browns. And God damn it, every morning I wake up and I just wish that had happened, because that would have been the best story ever.
She's had a lot of experience commanding large groups of people. And so I think that I could see, like, think about this. Pete Hegseth, right? Patriots coach.
Yeah.
We could do RFK Jr., Warriors. Like, I think a lot of these people, their skills can translate. Like, it's like, you know what I mean? Like, if you're good at jumping, you can probably be like a pretty good employee at, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
A place with a lot of tall shelves. Like, these things, like, it's not like you just have to do the same job all the time. If you learn skills and they're applicable and they're transferable.
Yeah. I just wish that I would have loved to see her like with a whistle and like the challenge flag that she's thrown onto the field. It would have been a great story.
Are there any lady coaches?
No lady. There's some lady assistant coaches.
Yeah, like strength
Doesn't
coaches
count.
and stuff like that, I think.
Doesn't count. Has there ever been a lady coach?
There's a few refs, yeah.
A lady ref too. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's rude to make women refs.
It kind of is.
Why's that?
Because everyone hates the refs, right?
It'd be funny if every ref was a woman.
You want equality. You should equal opportunity to get yelled at.
I know, but it's like, make one a coach first, right?
There might be one in basketball. There's been a couple really good female head coaches, either in the WNBA or assistant coaches in the NBA. And there's always rumors that they'll be hired to be a head coach.
I'm just saying, if like a lot of, maybe I'm thinking of the NBA here, but if a lot of like short, sort of portly Jewish guys can do it, there's nothing wrong with like any woman doing it, basically, especially Condoleezza Rice.
I think it would be funny if they were all women. So it's just always just nagging.
I mean, think about this. If they just made all the teams men, but everybody in the organization, from the coaches to the towel boys, women.
Yeah.
I think that would go a long way with solving a lot of the problems that we have in society today.
I think so.
Real quick, just before we got off on Condoleezza Rice, if I told you could play 18 holes at Augusta National Golf Club, but you would be mentioned in the Epstein Files, and there would be a 15% chance you would go to prison, would you do it?
For what?
No,
but what would the charge be?
No,
like tax evasion?
I mean, you're in the Epstein Files,
yeah,
so
but there's the Epstein Files and there's the Epstein Files.
It's not the worst, but it's not good. You go to prison for 6 years if you're convicted.
Like
it's going to be tax evasion.
Can we say?
I was thinking a little worse than that, but that's fine.
Tax evasion, never went to the island.
You visited
No,
the
you
island.
went to the island.
But it was just a quick. It was one night. It was a quick stopover.
Oh.
And there's not like corroborating stuff with other people being flown out.
Was
there,
he
but
there?
You did go.
Yes, he was there. 15% chance at 6 years.
I gotta say no to that. I think setting foot on that island, yeah. Which
guys
is
are crazy.
What
you
if
guys
you
are
didn't
crazy.
go to the
6
island?
years is nothing in a low security prison.
Also, it's only 15%.
Only 15%. You're out in 3.
But I can't golf for 6 years.
They probably got golf in
There's an
those,
85% chance nothing happens, and you just get to play Augusta.
Yeah, but if you're convicted of anything, then your name is
Yeah,
Do I get
and
a
you got
puppy?
convicted because of the Epstein stuff.
Do you get?
If I was
I
in
got
my
kids,
60s,
bro.
I mean, I don't care about golf, so I guess I wouldn't do this anyways. But I would just do it so that because PFT couldn't, and so I, if I was in my 60s, you know what? There's probably good medical care, or no, probably not that good of medical care, but there probably is medical care. Low security prisons, just other rich guys.
yeah.
I probably I probably know a lot of the guys in there because they're also probably on the island with me. So it's just like, I'm away. I get a little vacation. Maybe I'll write a if I did it style book called I Didn't Do It.
Just imagine swapping stories with the fellas in there.
Exactly.
Yeah, just reminiscing about old times on the island.
So you wouldn't.
My
do
boy
it.
did 10 years in a federal penitentiary in, I think, Indiana. And he was in there with all kinds of interesting guys. Like, it was like he was in there with a terrorist. He was in there with a couple other bank robbers and a guy who is actually innocent and I think is maybe going to get freed. And so it's like, you meet a lot of good guys. Well, not good guys, but you meet a lot of guys.
A lot of interesting guys.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you're guaranteed to have something to talk about at all times if you're in a federal penitentiary.
5%, would you go?
5% maybe. But the thing is, like, you
keep in mind you're still in the files.
You touch that island one time and that sticks with you for life.
It's tough.
Yeah, but you get to play Amen Corner.
That's true.
I want you guys' advice on something. So Howard Lutnick, the Commerce Secretary, and I will say Ashanda for the Goyim, because the way he talks, we shouldn't be having that accent anymore. That we should be leaving that accent sometime in the 1950s. It doesn't make us look good, especially post October 7th. We can't be talking in Howard Lutnick voice anymore.
The one on the news where they asked him about the first time meeting the guy, you go back and you listen to that. He's laying it on a little thick.
He's like, my wife and I went in to Jeffrey Epstein's house in 2005 pre-conviction, and he showed us this massage table. And we said, this is the disgusting man. We will never speak with, interact, nor be around him ever again. Within 1 year, there are emails released. Jeffrey, my wife and our children would love to come to your little island. Maybe we'll bring some other children there. It'll be a nice weekend together. Oh, Jeffrey, call me. I know you're traveling right now. 2012, 4 years post-conviction.
Yeah.
I'm going to send you an email. Call me. It's just like you forgot you went to. I can understand if you forgot to tell a guy to call you.
Yeah.
What I can't understand is how to forget your visit to the island. It's like, have you just been to so many islands with so many pedophiles that you were like, you know what? He just blended in.
Yeah.
No, it's like he deliberately lied. And of all places, the New York Post, which is just shameful. I mean, what an amazing newspaper. Shameful to lie to them. And then he's like kind of not really. He like got called into front of Congress and was like, I guess I forgot. I don't know. It drives me crazy. I mean, there's so many guys have lied.
I'm gonna kind of defend Lutnick on this one, because on face value it looks like he lied and then he got caught in a massive lie. I think what happened was he told the truth. I think that in that interview that he did on the news, he went to Jeffrey's apartment. He saw the massage table. He was there with his wife. Jeffrey goes, I get the right kind of massage, and I get it every day. And I think Lutnick looked at his wife, and he said, this is disgusting. We're never going to hang out with this man again. I think all that's true. And then Lutnick went home and emailed Jeffrey Epstein like, hey, dude, that massage table thing fucking rocks. Let's hang out sometime. Yeah. But he was telling his wife, like, we can't hang out with this man anymore. Now, then you fast forward and they're vacationing in the Caribbean. Maybe she's aware of the fact that now they're going to this disgusting man's island. Who's to say? But my general reaction was, I think Lutnick told his wife how gross he thought that was, that here's a man that's getting jacked off 24/7. He's like, that's terrible. I could never imagine a life like that. That sounds awful to me. But in reality, he was like, I want to hang out with this dude some more.
Yes. You know, I'm pretty sure, is it Edie Lutnick? I think it's Edie Lutnick, is Howard Lutnick's cousin. I believe was helped Ghislaine Maxwell start Terramar, her Ocean Conservancy thing.
Okay.
So these guys were all friends together.
Right.
I don't believe that's in the Epstein Files, but she's still got some tweets up about it. I mean, these guys were just like I don't even understand what the point is in trying to like dissemble or lie to people, because it's like, if you were a rich guy, for some reason, you were hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein at least once. And like, that's the thing I don't really understand, is because Jeffrey Epstein, like, people can ask, and there is sort of an explanation for how he got some of his money, but it's like, what did he do? What was his job day to day besides get massages? It's a little mysterious. Mm-hmm. And for a guy who was so inactive in many ways in terms of actually working, he certainly rubbed shoulders with the guys who were like moving a lot of money around, and he rubbed shoulders with them frequently. And it still is, I think this is what a lot of the questions about, like, what exact service did he provide to these people? Because in some instances, yes, there's like what appears to be maybe, moving money around. He looks like he was a tax shelter guy, probably laundering in some ways as well. But like, why was Bill Gates hanging out with him so much? Like, Bill Gates has people to do all this shit for him. It is just really, it's unclear. If you think of it with a guy like Howard Lutnick, we don't see any financial transactions between the two of them, but it just seems like he's a guy that Lutnick liked.
Yeah.
So give me where you at with the Bill Gates saga and all of this?
I mean, listen, Bill, a guy looks like Bill Gates. I don't know what that's like, right? Kind of ugly, glasses, 5'6", 4, maybe even 2. Obviously fantastically wealthy and highly charismatic, but Bill, I don't know what it's like to be like him. I think that he probably relied on Jeffrey Epstein to meet women. It really seems like he was relying on Jeffrey Epstein to meet women. I think that Melinda Walker, Nee, or however you pronounce it, N-E, mm-hmm. then the E with the little hyphen, or apostrophe on it. Gates, she, I think, knew that this was happening, and then when it became very public, she was so embarrassed and saw a good opportunity and divorced him. But I think that he was probably cheating on her with girls that Jeffrey Epstein introduced him to. I don't know the ages of those women. I think there's been one woman that's been I think sort of publicly announced, which was a Russian bridge player, but it seems like it might have happened more than once. And not only that, but like one of Bill Gates's like top scientific advisors, Boris Nikolic, was like fully one of Jeffrey Epstein's best friends during this entire period. He and Jeffrey Epstein hooked Kimball Musk, Elon Musk's brother, who's mm-hmm. on the board of Tesla, SpaceX, all these companies. They hooked him up with a girlfriend, and they're like all these emails back and forth, congratulating each other, talking about it, in very explicit terms. And so, like, there's kind of a little bit of a boys' club happening here. And Bill Gates isn't necessarily a core member, but he's definitely a member.
Yeah.
Wait, time out, because now, if this is the case, you're kind of, not you, just the picture you're painting is kind of giving some of these dudes an out, where what you're saying, it could have been not all nefarious underage, like trafficking, and it could be that he's a matchmaker.
Well, all right, so let's just take the case of Kimball Musk. So Kimball is Elon's more loser but slightly more handsome brother, right? I don't want to say handsome.
No,
he just looks less fucked up.
He looks cool.
Elon.
The cowboy hat, yeah.
He does wear a cowboy hat.
He's got a good vibe to him.
He wears a cowboy hat at all times.
Mm-hmm.
And this came from, and I heard this from one of his employees, he made one trip to Austin, Texas, and then bought a cowboy hat there, and then has not taken it off since.
I love that. That's so perfect.
He's a Burning Man guy. He appears to teeter on the edge of polyamory, if not, going over into this endless abyss on occasion. But he's kind of like second, he's very much second fiddle to his significantly more neurodivergent brother, Elon, although Kimball himself seems to lack a certain amount of social grace. And so we can take from the emails kind of like, this is almost like an example of some of what Epstein did for people. So Epstein in 2012 and Epstein and Boris Nikolic, and I think maybe Tom Pritzker at one point, hang out with Elon and Kimball. And then there is I believe a second meeting, certainly one scheduled, between Epstein and Kimball, just without Elon. During that meeting, it appears that Epstein and Boris Nikolic introduce Kimball to a young woman. Now, this young woman, whose identity is known, she is kind of in Epstein's entourage. So she has been traveling with him since she was very young. She first appears on the flight logs in, I think, 2004 when she was 18, which means that they might have known each other prior to that as well. And dates Epstein, has some sort of sexual relationship, romantic relationship with him, but also works for him as sort of he had all these sort of women who just did tasks for him as well. And those are in the files. We've known about that for a long time. Not the pilot, but in a similar role to Nadia, his lady pilot. But sort of just like a pretty young woman he has around. And sometimes it seems like hooks up with important men in order to, I don't know, maybe help Epstein learn things, to help make connections, maybe for slightly even more nefarious reasons than that. So he and Boris introduced this woman to Kimball. They hit it off, and they have a whirlwind romance for the next, I think it's like 6 months. It goes from around October of 2012 to sometime in the spring of 2013. And Epstein is getting like reports from this woman on her relationship with Kimball. And it seems like he's kind of helping her manage it. And now remember, 2012, 2013 is like Elon's making a lot of moves at this point, and Epstein is very interested in these. And Epstein's also courting Elon at this point. And so it's like he's doing a sort of double pronged approach where he's making approaches to Elon, and he's also having kind of one of his employees date Elon's brother. Now, there's another instance where Kimball Musk is having a birthday party at the Four Seasons here in New York City. And Epstein appears to send a group of unnamed young women over, and there's no information about them, but young women over to Kimball Musk for this birthday party in this suite. And it sort of seems, which the password I think was Pussy Riot to get into the party as well. In fact, I don't think it was. I know it was Pussy Riot.
Pussy Riot being the name of the Russian punk / anarchist band that was imprisoned by Putin.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Yeah. And so we don't really know. I mean, all we can see is what's in the emails here. But if I had to take just a contextless slice of these emails, not knowing anything about any of the parties involved, I would say that it appears this Jeffrey Epstein man is functioning as somewhat of a pimp for people like Kimball here.
Mm-hmm.
Where he has these people kind of at his beck and call. And so later, the same girl that dates Kimball actually goes on to marry in a sham lesbian marriage, Jeffrey Epstein's final main girlfriend, a dentist named, Epstein puts her through Columbia Dental School, named Karina Shuliak, who is the last person he made a phone call to. So this woman is basically like Epstein's like decades-long employee that he sort of deploys at one point to date Kimball. And so this woman's overage. Like there's no question about this. This woman is an adult. But Epstein also wasn't just into teenage girls. Like Epstein liked young women as well. And so it's not completely it's not some sort of new revelation that we're learning this. But I think it is a really interesting insight into how he operated this, because he performs this same service seemingly for a number of people, where he'll have people over to the house and they'll have like another email chain with one of his assistants being like, bring 4 or 5 girls over as well.
I think that it shines a light into a part of our world where if you get rich and you get famous, a lot of times you're a big fucking dork and you don't really know how to talk to women. Maybe you haven't had that much success talking to ladies in the past. And if you know a guy that you can just count on to have like attractive women around, that's a guy that you are going to want to hang out with repeatedly, because that is your social life now. That's for the first time in your life, you're able to talk to a woman, and you're kind of just putting up a blinder to the fact that, oh yeah, she's talking to you because either one, she's like kind of been kidnapped, or 2, she's being paid as a working lady that is contracted, via the services of Jeffrey Epstein. And that's how you get power over these guys, because then they look at you, and if you're Jeffrey Epstein, Kimball Musk looks at him and he's like, this guy is how I get laid. Every time I hang out with this guy, I'm having sex. And so then you start to develop those friendships and you become just like their confidant. And with Bill Gates, the whole thing with him and his, I think you're right. I think he was unable to talk to women. I think that Jeffrey Epstein always had women available for him to sleep with. Maybe some below the legal age, almost certainly some above the legal age. But he had a weird relationship too with his like college girlfriend or his high school sweetheart. Did you know this about Bill Gates, that he had an arrangement even while he was married to Melinda, where once a year they would get to go hang out for a week on the Outer Banks of North Carolina. So Bill Gates would get a vacation with his high school girlfriend every single year. And they get to go like ride dune buggies and go play putt-putt golf together. Kind of a weird situation.
If you made me go,
he had a hall pass.
I mean, no disrespect to my high school girlfriend, but if we took a vacation together once a year, you would find me hanging from a branch by my own hand within the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Wow. It is, there is something actually kind of sweet about that. No, it's not sweet. There's something kind of sweet about that,
sweet,
but also
yeah,
really weird about it as well.
Like very extremely disrespectful to your current wife.
I mean, Mike, well, who knows what arrangement she had, right?
That's true.
Maybe she gets to fuck another rich, hot guy like Jeff Bezos.
Yeah. But it is very weird. But also sweet. It's like, yeah, we get the quote that I read was, we get together and we get to play putt-putt golf while talking about molecular biology. It's a wonderful getaway that we have.
Yeah, I would be hanging within 5 minutes, not 10 minutes.
Brace, can you tell me about this plant that's been in the news the last couple of days? Do you know about this?
What is there a new plant?
So there was a plant reportedly on the island that would turn people into zombies or something. It said it takes away your free will.
I saw this headline. It's the plant, the drug that's used in Colombia to drug people.
Rofinol.
It's kind of like that, but it's like
it's a roofie?
It's a variation of a roofie. It apparently leaves you like semi-conscious for days at a time. And I've read a bunch of stories about dudes that go down there on like sex tourism. They end up meeting like a prostitute or a stripper. The stripper drugs them. Then they withdraw all the money from their account over the course of like 3 or 4 days. And then they wake up. They don't remember anything.
Emails show Epstein asked a close confidant about, quote, trumpet plants, with the pedo financier potentially referring to the highly poisonous Angel's trumpet toxin.
Yeah.
Interesting. Wow, I had no idea about that.
Scopolamine seems to be the drug that plant produces.
Yeah, scopolamine. Yeah, God, I remember that what was it, like a Vice documentary about that. Is how I heard about it originally. Wow. I had not seen those, but that is interesting. It's weird. Epstein actually also seemingly, I mean, I don't know, this is obviously a little different than just being on drugs, but Epstein hated anybody on drugs or who was an alcoholic too. I don't know. I mean, I feel like at the point that you're on the island, I'm not really sure that you need the zombie drugs.
I was going to say that the trumpet plant would be good. I guess if you had somebody on the island that was not, they weren't truly prepared for what they were about to see or do on the island. and they were resistant to it, then you just get the trumpet playing out, and then boom, you've got
a movie about this. With the Channing Tatum. Is it Channing Tatum?
Blink Twice.
Blink Twice.
Similar vibe.
Very fucking sick movie. I thought I was watching because he's usually funny movie type shits. That is not a funny movie, dog.
Brace, do you know?
I haven't seen it. I haven't even heard of it.
That shit is horrible. It's basically a movie where a guy charms women to get on an island, and they just have a good time, and they end up staying. And one girl starts getting a little weirded out, but everybody's cool. But they find out later on, spoiler alert, but they find out later on that every night they're being drugged and raped by these dudes, like these massively wealthy dudes.
Oh,
so
Zoe Kravitz directed
fun.
it.
Like, and then that's my fault because I was like, I like to watch movies where I don't know what's going on. Like, I don't watch the trailers. I'm like, oh, this looks dope. Let's see what it is. Yeah, my fault. Because if I knew what the fuck was going on, I would never click that fuck. It was like a plot twist. Like, he's usually in funny, chilling movies, and I was like, yo, this is sick. What the fuck is this?
Brace, have you seen any of the emails where Epstein's like, whoops, where it seems like whoops might be a code word for that person died, and now there's people making, drawing.
Yeah, it does seem to be. I mean, it's so hard because Epstein is like, he emails like he's such a weird email. Like he emails like you text.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like you text to somebody you don't give a fuck about. And so everything's like one word or like two misspelled words. But there's a few. And so he responds whoops to a few emails in particular. And yeah, it does kind of seem like, I mean, I don't know if it means he killed them, but it does seem like at least in one of them, if I'm remembering, I don't have it in front of me, that somebody dies in it.
And he's just like, whoops.
It's RFK Jr.'s first wife is one he responded whoops to.
Oh, wow.
Ugh. And that is a woman
who
died.
Killed herself, allegedly.
Yeah, killed herself. And of course, Epstein and RFK Jr. are friends.
Right.
They went on a couple plane rides together. I believe they dug up dinosaur bones.
Yeah, when they went fossiling together.
Speaking of people killing themselves, maybe the best that I recall, the original uproar about, not original, but when it got the loudest was Epstein didn't kill himself. Epstein didn't kill himself, years and years ago. And now it's more or less, I mean, they've released it. They had a fake body ready to roll out of the thing so that the media wouldn't see him. That they admit that the camera was cut off. He didn't kill himself. And it seems like they kind of just put all that out there and nobody really cares anymore. I guess because more of this has been exposed and like.
I go by what Dan Bongino says. And dude, he killed himself. I've seen the footage. Dude, he killed himself.
I don't care whether he did or didn't.
Right.
But it seems like so many people cared about that, and now it's kind of been confirmed that he didn't, and it doesn't seem like that's getting the attention it would deserve.
I think there's just so much shit. There's
so much
stuff to go through. It's like there's like 20 different things in all these files that in a normal news year, let's say, what do you think the most regular news year ever was? I'm going to say like 2000.
Yeah, 2000 probably would be.
2000 was
2000, one of the craziest elections we've ever had.
Yeah,
an election year?
I guess pre-election 2000. Because the election only really got crazy at that last part, but pre-election 2000. Right. So for most of 2000,
yeah, I'd say most.
Let's say 99. I mean, I guess it was Y2K, but this is every year, and Y2K wasn't really that bad,
Yeah, and that was after Monica died down a little bit, right? Okay, so 1999. Let's 1999. Most regular news year that we can remember. There's 20 different things in the Epstein Files that would be like the story of the year that you would lead off Nightline with for 3 months in a row. And there's just so much stuff that it's impossible to focus on the fact that, yeah, this guy, Jeffrey Epstein, looks like he probably didn't kill himself. Looks like there may have been a fake body that was smuggled out of the prison. Maybe the real dead body was also taken out of the prison, but they also had a fake one just in case to draw eyes off of. The cameras, like you mentioned, Big T, none of that has lined up with what they originally told us.
Yeah, they also say, I think that they're saying that there was like some noose that they found that wasn't the noose used, that he like or some sheets that he didn't kill himself with. I actually want to go back to the whoops thing real quick, if that's all right, not to derail us. There's been so much shit that I just haven't seen because, again, there's 3.5 million files, and obviously a lot of those are kind of repeats or whatever. But like, I'm looking at this right now, and this is a email. Email between him and someone else in 2017. Turns out Ornella was raped when she was 18. Anna just told me today. And then Jeffrey Epstein responds, whoops. And like Jean-Luc, he's messaging Jean-Luc Brunel, who also died in prison on sex trafficking charges in France in 2012. Subject, he deserves it. And then the body is just whoops. It's like he uses whoops whenever anything bad happens to somebody else. And like, it's strange. Like even this, Sultan's mom died in Colombia. Whoops. Like he sends that to, where is it to, now I'm off of it. I think he sends that to Kathy Rumler. It's a little bizarre the way that he uses, he sends it to Eva Dubin.
I have to catch myself like getting too far down into like, absolutely brain rotted conspiracy theory shit. But it does say a guy like Jeffrey Epstein, who is clearly a narcissist, one of the biggest narcissists of all, in addition to other things, but like his whole plan on like repopulating the earth with his progeny and all that. He felt very highly of himself. He was clearly a manipulative person that was trying to control the affairs of the entire world and the elite.
Definitely.
That would be a guy that would drop a calling card every time one of his plans to have somebody killed came to fruition.
Or he's just an asshole, because look at this one. This is from his ex-girlfriend, Eva Dubin, at Mount Sinai with my mom. She just had surgery for acute appendicitis. And he writes, news? Whoops. That's your ex-girlfriend.
Okay,
if your ex-girlfriend messaged
asshole.
you, my mom is in the hospital right now, I'm with her, are you hitting her with a whoops?
Probably not a whoops. But you could also look back through like all the typos and his just general demeanor in terms of emailing, and just imagine that he's just getting jacked off every time he's sending
absolutely.
An email. So it's like he's a little distracted at the moment.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's just he says whoops so often. It's fucking crazy.
The whoopses are nuts.
Yeah. And it's like, what is this one? My mom is a bit sick. This is from another girlfriend, Karina Shuliak. My mom is a bit sick. Won't be a good idea for them to come over today. Whoops. Okay. Like, what is that?
Yeah.
It is.
Might have been like his suggested.
Is this just the only way that you know how to respond? Maybe it's just his trauma response to things. He's like, oh, your mother's sick. Right. Whoops. Whoops.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Grace, about the kind of the core four of the women that he's surrounded himself with. Specifically Corinna and Nadia, and both of them are kind of just around still. Like, it got revealed recently that Nadia is basically like a Buddhist in a Buddhist cult now in New York, and Karina Shuliak just graduated from Columbia this past year. Like, what happens to women like that who most likely started in this whole scheme as a victim and then turned into I guess you could call it a co-conspirator, and they're just walking around and like also possibly still living at the East 66th Street apartments? What do you do with women like that, or people like that, I guess, in general? And like, how have they kind of gone on this long not having a similar fate to Ghislaine, if they were, and like Leslie Groff as well, like, who was his assistant for 20 years. How are they kind of just like being in Buddhist cults and like becoming doctors and like nothing, like, and not getting deposed or like anything?
Well, it is. I think it's so strange that it seems like from the files, there were FBI investigations into possible co-conspirators. And even if you're taking the most minimalist view of this, in that these women that were directly surrounding Jeffrey Epstein, who, according to like testimony and to, the FBI's own investigations, seems like they helped him get girls over, and certainly would have maybe participated in some of this trafficking. There's descriptions of threesomes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
I mean, Karina is his trust. I mean, she's getting his trust, right?
Yeah. I mean, Karina Shuliak, I think he willed her like $50 million.
And
I don't know
only
how.
got 10.
Yeah, and possibly was married to him, or at least that maybe he says at least they say that there was a ring promising engagement given to her. It doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, Leslie Groff in particular, this seems like somebody who is well aware.
She has a vault of information, it seems.
Totally, and like it's unclear. Had Sarah Kellen as well. Like it's unclear how deep the FBI or DOJ went on this. They definitely know about it. And there seems to be preparatory materials to go after. I think it's Kellen in the documents. Like it seems like they were preparing a case against her and then just kind of gave up. And I really want to know what precipitated the giving up on that, because again, there are some people who it's like, like Nadia, the rumor was that he bought her when she was a teenager.
Her father.
Yeah. I wouldn't be so surprised if that was not far from the truth. But like, then she then he sort of like controls and manages her life. And, she becomes this pilot and this sort of Burning Man person. And then with Karina, she's also from Eastern Europe. He marries her to Kimball Musk's ex-girlfriend and puts her through Columbia Dental School. When, in fact, I think 2 people at Columbia just got in major trouble because clearly she was let in sort of around the regular admissions process by Jeffrey Epstein's influence. And I mean, I'm just like, what if that's your dentist, man?
Right.
I mean, at least she has a career set up for her. Dentistry is obviously a high rate of suicide, highest of all doctors.
Is that true?
But yeah.
But like, were they involved in those like non-prosecution agreements?
That's the thing, is like, we don't know because it's unnamed co-conspirators. The timing lines up, not with Karina. I think Karina came around a little bit later. Or at least we have papers on her from later. I don't know. She could have been around right then. But definitely I think with Nadia, I feel like was around in 2007, 2008. I don't know. It is, again, there's this NPA that like kind of prevented them from going any further. And I don't know if the Jeffrey Epstein 2019 prosecution was going to, maybe the DOJ thought that would sort of, make the 2008 NPA void. And so they could prosecute other people, or they just didn't really care that much and just wanted to go after the big name. But it does seem like they were preparing cases against other people. Now, I would not be surprised if, because of the uproar caused by these, that there are prosecutions against like
Karina.
Kellen and Groff.
Yeah. Well, Leslie Groff, I feel like, knows every single thing that happened.
Dude, fucking her and Cecile DeJong on the island is like, these two are like, I mean, Groff knows everything. Like Groff is literally, she knows like all the bodies are buried, like more, and she was around through the Ghislaine period until the end.
Because not only was she involved in the emails, she CC'd on every single one. Like, she didn't miss a beat.
Everything. And she's in charge of like, okay, Jeffrey Epstein wants to put up this girl at the apartments. Leslie Groff is the woman that like arranges this. Leslie Groff is the one that's sending, for instance, to the Elon Musk thing. When Epstein visited SpaceX, Leslie Groff is sending over Elon's assistant the passports of the 3 or 4 girls that's accompanying Epstein. So like, she is aware of all this. She's like arranging meetings with lawyers for, for some of the girls. She's like, I mean, every single thing Leslie Groff is involved in. And it's absurd to me that she is not being kind of investigated. I mean, if Ghislaine is getting charged with trafficking for some of this stuff, I just do not see how Leslie Groff is not.
Yeah, or conspiracy too.
Yeah, exactly. Conspiracy, yeah.
So you were talking about, you wouldn't be surprised if there was actually some prosecution. Who's going to prosecute him, though? Like, is the Department of Justice going to do it? I don't think that they're... Number one, even if they thought like, hey, we need to get some more scalps, we have to act like we're doing something. I have like zero faith in them being able to just logistically, ham and eggs, blocking and tackling, being able to pull off a successful prosecution of this case.
I mean, Pam Bondi at the top there is nothing but just like slavish devotion to not Jeffrey Epstein, Donald Trump. And so, I think it's really, if Trump is like, no, there's nothing happening here, that means nothing will happen to the DOJ. Because if Trump is saying that this is just all a Democrat plot, then there will be no prosecutions related to the actual co-conspirators. Now, there might be prosecutions related to like maybe contempt of Congress if somebody doesn't want to come testify. Mm-hmm. But I doubt that they're really going to reopen this investigation. They're under a lot of pressure. But again, like the big man's word is kind of law around there. And so we don't really have an independent judiciary that can decide to do this kind of stuff.
He's probably got one or two names in that list that he's had some rivalries with over the years. Just whatever beefs really rich, powerful people get into each other with over the years. Like, oh, this guy cheated in a game of croquet in 2004, and he's always been a prick. And so, we'll throw him under the bus. Even if you told Bondi, like, go after that guy, I don't know that she'd be able to actually pull that off, given what her skill set seems to be, which is yelling at people.
Yeah, and
she is good at yelling at people. I want to be very clear about that. Like, if Pam Bondi wanted to, she could have been an extremely strict substitute teacher. Like, kids would not have been fucking around on her watch.
Yeah. It is, it's hard to say. I think Congress taking this into their own hands is good in some ways. I so much of it seems to be political grandstanding that I don't know what can actually come of it. If that makes sense. Like, I don't know if Ted Lieu is really the guy that's like actually wants to get to the heart of this. I think this has really become a political football for a lot of these guys.
Ted Lieu, and when he speaks, and this is not like, I'm not talking about his accent or whatever, just how he arranges his thoughts. There's a lot in common with the guy that went up to Minnesota and did the daycare fraud thing. They have the same cadence. They have their synapses seem like they're connecting at the same level as each other. And Ted Lieu's like,
surely to him.
And Ted Lieu's also a guy who's like, this is going to slap on Twitter, so I will put my thoughts online.
I mean, that's the whole problem with all of this. Yeah. Is like so much of this is just being performed for fucking Twitter, and like it's you have an interesting dynamic where a lot of Trump's executive branch like appointees are Twitter heads and respond directly to stuff from Twitter, but Trump himself is kind of removed from that and more responds to stuff from Fox and Friends. And so it like sort of trickles down to him. And so he doesn't give a fuck about the Epstein stuff at all. Like, okay, maybe Reid Hoffman is like a guy that he could kind of go after, but it's not worth it to him. Like, he's just rather be like, this is all a hoax. It's all fake. There's nothing going on here. I think a lot of people think that there's going to be some crazy stuff in these files that like, oh, we're going to go have sex with a child together on this and this date. The reality is the DOJ would not release that if they had it. I don't think that Epstein was communicating in that way with people, but the DOJ is like, he's not that stupid. He's not going to email like explicit crimes in that way under any circumstance. I think, first of all, he also used WhatsApp and Signal, neither of which we have in these files. Second of all, these aren't even the full list of files. And again, third of all, there's not like there's phone call transcripts or anything, which he called people on the phone quite a lot, as we know from the message pads that were taken into evidence from the Palm Beach home. It's like, I think people are expecting there to be a smoking gun from this, or like literally an Epstein list of like, this guy fucked this kid on this date or whatever. And that was never going to happen. The DOJ is not they are very stupid, but they're not stupid enough to put out a document that fully incriminates them in ignoring, like, that would be the scandal of the century. If during this like this tranche, they released an email that was like clear evidence that there was child sex crimes happening outside of the remit of the investigations that already occurred. That would be, again, I cannot stress enough, that would be one of the biggest scandals in American history. And they're just not, if that document exists, they're not releasing it. There's also, I should add, there's a lot of stuff that the DOJ did not get in the initial raid on Epstein's townhouse. There was a warrant that for some reason did not allow the FBI to take the contents of Jeffrey Epstein's safe, at least not all of them. They went out and they got the warrant fixed and they came back. But in the meantime, some of Epstein's lawyers came to the house, opened the safe, and removed things from it. That is just what happened. And so there is stuff in here that we just don't know, and we probably will never know. We can infer some stuff. And I would say that there's kind of a lot of stuff you can infer from some of this. And this paints kind of an incredible picture of the way that Epstein operates, or operated, I should say. But people who are looking for there to be like one smoking gun document, that's just not how really like this stuff. And by this stuff, I mean, even in the broadest sense, investigation generally works. Like you actually have to kind of like figure out the storylines that go with these. You have to find corroborating documents. You have to find who these people, say Bannon and Epstein are talking about like such and such foreign leader. You can figure out even in the documents, like Sebastian Kurz from Austria, who Epstein introduces Steve Bannon to. You find that Epstein knows him through a Norwegian diplomat that he's friends with, and yada, yada, yada. And obviously, I'm not talking about something criminal here. I'm just talking about something slightly nefarious.
Yeah.
But the pimping stuff, you see Epstein arranging from girls visiting a house at a certain time. Now, Epstein's not saying in these emails, these are girls for sex with these men. But you can kind of question, well, okay, why are you bringing 4 girls over when you just have Bill Gates's science advisor coming over?
Yeah.
No,
it's all fair. And I remember when you first told us, the first time we had you on the show, you talked about the townhouse and the warrant and the stuff that was in that safe that we'll never get to see. And that is probably the stuff that's as close to a smoking gun as we can get. And by a smoking gun, it's probably, you have to assume, where all the backed up footage of the security cameras from all those rooms went, right? And that's what you'd have. And it's gone. And I don't think that whoever took it is going to bring it back. They probably just destroyed it, considering the number of powerful people that would have been implicated, even like threatening blackmail as like a lone wolf blackmailer against all those people that had been to that house. That seems like you're signing your death warrant. So I think all that stuff's gone. I wanted to ask you about, you mentioned Pizzagate earlier. And so you've seen a lot of people being like, see, told you Pizzagate was real. We called it 100% true. But there is a very fascinating story between maybe kind of the origins of Pizzagate, QAnon, Jeffrey Epstein, and maybe Steve Bannon, but not in the way that like the original Pizzagate was real at all, but the vibes, the vibes are still coded the same way. So what do you know about the start of the Pizzagate conspiracy theory and how Epstein, maybe Bannon, are tied to it?
Well, it's been a while. It's been a while since I got over this stuff. But a lot of it started, not all of it, but a lot of it kind of came from 4chan, and certainly a lot of it gained steam on 4chan. And particularly I believe the poll message board, where a lot of
politically
kind of
incorrect,
where QAnon did come out of. And because Pizzagate kind of gave rise to Q, or at least in a spiritual sense with his predecessor to it. A lot of the Pizzagate stuff also came out of the leaked Podesta emails from WikiLeaks. What I thought was interesting is Epstein meeting with Christopher Poole, the guy who started 4chan, I think in 2014, he's meeting with him on, I believe, a number of occasions. And that is interesting to me because I know that he later went on to work. I think he works at Google still. But I don't really know exactly what he and Jeffrey Epstein would be talking about. I've been meaning to kind of like try to research more on what he was actually doing in that year, because I was never a 4chan user. I'm not a big 4chan head.
Were you a something awful guy?
No, I was nothing.
You were independent.
I was on heroin during a lot of the period where
the ultimate message board
doing those things. Yeah. And I perused the message board Blue Light, but was not a user of it.
Okay.
Or was not a poster on it. But it's okay. So like Epstein meets with Christopher Poole during this period. Actually, on the day that the Poole message board starts, he meets with him. And I've seen a lot of people be like, oh, interesting. Like, did Jeffrey Epstein give him that idea? I don't think Jeffrey Epstein gave him that idea, but maybe he did. We don't know. I think that would take some spinning up to go meet with Jeffrey Epstein and then immediately start this new board, but it's possible. But then the friendship with Bannon, I think, is really interesting because Bannon was a big pusher of the Pizzagate stuff and the QAnon stuff. And Bannon was able to kind of like translate that into support for Trump in general. And as this sort of like, and sort of kind of this anti-elite, really sort of vulgar populism that he was employing at this point. And it turns out that like Bannon is just pretty much like within months after getting fired by Trump after the Charlottesville disaster, is like with Epstein, hanging out with Epstein all the time, advising Epstein, taking, hundreds of hours, he's saying, or like 100 hours. I think he said 100 hours of video of Epstein, and seemingly is like one of his best friends during the period where like QAnon is like going crazy. I mean, 2018 was banner year for Q. And one of these main guys, and QAnon was spread a lot to like guys like Jack Posobiec, and sort of the Breitbart sphere of people, which of course that was Steve Bannon's entire, like that was his apparatus. And so he kind of was one of the originators of this like alternative ecosystem, this like independent media ecosystem that really embraced a lot of the QAnon stuff, while at the same time hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein and like getting meetings set up between like him and the Saudis by Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah.
And so we see this like hidden world at work underneath this independent media sphere that is like something I've never seen before. I mean, it's really, I knew that they were friends, but I did not know the extent of their friendship. It's really been I've been actually really focused on that. I'm doing a big project sort of around that, that I'm hopefully going to have done in the next few weeks, but it has just been kind of crazy to see. But then the Pizzagate stuff comes up again in this entirely, I don't want to say organic, but much more organic way with all the Jeffrey Epstein messages, especially all these ones with him and his urologist.
Yeah.
Where people are like, look, pizza is a code word, because in one, he's talking about pills for erectile dysfunction. And then the doctor, Harry Fish, is like, well, go, have some pizza and grape soda afterwards. But it seems like Harry Fish actually just loves sending Jeffrey Epstein pictures of food he ate, including at one point, a big piece of a cheese pizza, I think cheese pizza, or maybe not cheese pizza, and a grape soda. And so I don't think it was code. I think that they were really eating a lot of pizza. And Jeffrey Epstein does meet people at the pizza place by his house a lot.
Or it could also become almost self-referential at some point where like if they were a part of like, at least discussing the Pizzagate stuff, then they're making jokes about it. Then they start to refer to pizza and stuff in their own emails the way that you would like on a text thread with the boys. There was somebody that came up to Dave Portnoy when we were in San Francisco for the Super Bowl, that was screaming at him about the elites, and he knows what he does with all the pizza because Dave does all the pizza reviews. And watching Dave try to figure out
the pizza reviews,
watching Dave try to figure out what the hell this guy was talking to him about when he was accusing him of being like a member of the grand Jewish conspiracy of like child enslavement, was very funny to see Dave like tried to understand what this guy is even talking about.
That's so, he's like, oh yeah.
Has he ever caught on? Because I saw the video.
He was just like, you keep saying they, who's they? Who's they? Who's they? And the guy just was like, you know who they are, Dave. Dave was like, I have no idea. I like to eat pizza. I put pizza in my mouth. I eat pizza. It's good. I make videos about that.
Where'd you guys get pizza in San Francisco?
Where did Dave go? I don't know. I'll tell you what, San Francisco, call me a lib if you must.
I will.
One of the best cities in this country.
It's awesome.
It's incredible. Now, I was telling people, you don't want to be in the, was it Union Square area?
No,
or
the Tenderloin.
Yeah. And that's where a lot of the hotels happen to be. But
it's true.
You get outside of that part of town, it's amazing. It's beautiful, great food, great people.
You can walk around.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's oh my God, man. North Beach, Russian Hill, to even Portola in the South. It's just, it's amazing.
Marin County. I went to visit my uncle's old house. He lived about a block away from the corner of Haight and Ashbury back in 1967 through 69. So he was like ground zero of whatever was going on. That's where he was. And so I went to go visit his old house and walk past it. And then I walked down onto the main drag there, and I looked around. I was like, if you lived here during the late 60s, you would hate so very much what this street is right now.
Oh, Hate Street. I will say this: Hate Street has sucked since I was like, I could remember. It is always. It's like no one I know. I've lived there. I've lived off of Hate Street. Lower Hate is fine, but Upper Hate, like where the hippie stuff is, it's just like a weird tourist trap. But it's also kind of weird to get to from other neighborhoods. It just sucks. It sucks up there, but everywhere else is pretty awesome. And there's pretty stuff around there.
Yeah.
But the Hate Street, like sort of drag itself up there fucking blows
like
ass.
Designer furniture stores on Hate. And it's like, this is pretty terrible right here. But that said, the entire neighborhood around it, beautiful. Awesome place.
Oh yeah. It's awesome.
Bryce, is there anything else? I know that you have to go. Is there anything else that you want to rip into real quick? Something that you've been caught up either with the Epstein Files or a project that you're working on?
Well, so I've been doing this shit on the Bannon text and the Bannon interview with Epstein, and I think it's so sort of fascinating, the texts that we see. And I've been kind of going through them one by one and trying to figure out all the context behind all the stuff that they're talking about in here. And I think it sort of shows what Epstein is capable of doing at a real level, which is kind of more than I think I would have even surmised or thought prior to these messages coming out, which is that he has real connections with like real prominent government officials throughout the world. I mean, the fact that Epstein is able to arrange a meeting between the Prime Minister of Austria and Steve Bannon itself is just, I mean, I think it's pretty incredible. And these meetings with the Saudis, these meetings with the Emiratis, and Epstein and Bannon kind of letting Epstein in on his like weird internationalist project that he's doing in Europe, where he's trying to like meet with Alternative for Deutschland in Germany and all these sort of populist groups or radical right-wing groups in other places. It's kind of interesting. And Epstein adopts in this role a sort of disinterested, apolitical observer and helper. And so he's just trying to be helpful to Bannon. And it is, one has to kind of wonder what he's getting out of this. And a lot of the times when the conversations turn to maybe touchier subjects, Epstein will automatically say, switch to phone, like not okay for text. And, you know, it speaks to something more major happening. There's like a project actually happening here. And again, these people hung out together in person a number of times. Yeah. And we just don't know what they talked about, but we can kind of get the contours or the outlines of it from these text messages. And it seems to be something pretty major. I think another thing too is Epstein's just his ability to, I don't know what, attract these like Peter Thiel, right? Mm-hmm. Like Peter Thiel's involvement in Epstein is like so much more intense than was previously reported. He's always been rather vague about it or purposely vague about it. But it seems like at one point Epstein may have like gotten an investment invested in Peter Thiel's fund or into one of his companies. I don't have the email in front of me right here. And he has these sort of financial links with all of these people across like the world that does sort of show us. I mean, there is a international elite, which is not a secret, but that operate in this way with these strange little sort of like nexuses, right? Mm-hmm. Like Epstein had his guys. He had Boris Nikolic. He had Miroslav from the Slovak Republic, or rather Slovakia. He had, you know, like HBJ from the UAE, or excuse me, from Qatar. He had all of these guys that were kind of in his like circle that he was able to deploy at certain times. And like his involvement in the, for instance, the Gulf crisis that happened, I think it was from 2014 to maybe 2018, when Saudi Arabia had planned to saw Qatar off into the ocean. It seems like Epstein is like doing some pretty crucial backdoor diplomacy within Gulf politics at this point, and you have to wonder like how he even got to that point where he had those connections and that trust from people.
The one audio clip that came out, was he talking to Ehud Barak, where he was saying like you should look into this guy Peter Thiel, and he runs this company called Palantir, and was like misspelling his name, misspelling the name of the company. It was still like very new to him, but for some reason Jeffrey had in his mind that like this guy is the future of all the stuff that you want to do, and he will be massively successful. I'm going to link you guys up, and then we can all kind of share in the fruits of this relationship as it grows together. And then just to follow up on the first thing that you said, where you're saying like Bannon going around with Epstein, meeting with all these foreign heads of state, people running for office in different countries. The way that you just kind of set that up, it seemed like the most sinister thing that I've ever heard. Like they were up to something. It sounds like it was big. It sounds like every country in the world is plotting something, and we don't know what it is. So,
well, then because Trump recently said about Epstein, like, and they didn't want to get me elected or something like that. And so to me, from my scene, it was kind of the opposite. But that's what I was thinking of what you said when you first said it. Was like, okay, the shit that you're working on, is it alluding to that kind of wanting to coerce or influence elections, things like that?
Well, I mean, that was Bannon's whole goal, right? I mean, Bannon is the one who sort of invented the flood the zone strategy. I wonder, and Bannon also, I mean, we have to take this into context with Bannon's other involvement with billionaires. Miles Guo, who we love, the rapping and raping Chinese dissident. Bannon was arrested on his yacht. And so it seems like Bannon was looking for benefactors, and Epstein was one of them. And somebody, he later found Miles Guo, who of course helped him leak the bizarre Hunter Biden laptop stuff. Like, it's really strange how that story even happened in the first place. And then it all coming out on one of Miles Guo's weird Chinese websites. It is, I don't know exactly what's happening. I'm trying to figure it out. I mean, there's something kind of along those lines that I'm working on too with Epstein's involvement in Bitcoin. And I'm working on this with a Coinbase journalist that I know. Because he was in there pretty early. I mean, he wasn't in there super early, but he was in there pretty early, and seemingly involved in some infrastructure stuff, maybe some early Coinbase stuff. I think, I don't have it in front of me. And I kind of want to just figure out exactly what the story is. How did Epstein play a role in any of this stuff? What that might mean, if it means anything. With the Bannon shit in particular, I don't know. I mean, it just seems like that Bannon excites Epstein in a way that few other people do. He gets really excited talking to Bannon, and is like almost flirtatious in his dialogue with him, where he kind of calls him the devil or playfully teases and says, you're like Hitler. But in a sort of jocular, joking way. And I really just, the two men seem to have been very attracted to each other, and I want to know what that led to. And so I'm still in the fairly early stages of this project, but it's going to be I think a pretty, one of the longest podcast episodes ever made. Even
I've started to read the tea leaves a little bit about Bannon. He seems like he has become persona non grata. Like
I don't know. He keeps,
I go by what Cat Turd says, and Cat Turd has said, now I have to turn my back. Like that scene in Goodfellas where, Paulie hands him like $400 and says, now I got to wash my hands of you. Cat Turd, I think, has officially abandoned Steve Bannon. So that to me says
PFT's Mount Rushmore of truth so far includes Cat Turd and Dan Bongino.
Well,
it's a good list.
We're going PFT. We don't need Cat Turd anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
We don't need Cat Turd.
That's true.
It is Bannon is in a strange place, because again, he's like he has Trump officials on. During the election, he had a bunch of Trump people who would later serve in the Trump cabinet on, in the war room. I think that they're one of Rumble's biggest shows. He's still really plugged in on the right wing ecosystem. I think he's still getting charged. I don't know if those are state or federal charges, but his fraud thing where he ripped off a bunch of people who gave him money to build the wall and he just pocketed it. I think he's awaiting a pardon from Trump, or at least if it's state charges, then pressure from whoever to pardon him. he's been going around. He gives these sort of scary interviews that, oh, Trump, we have a plan for the third term. I think he's kind of bullshitting there.
Mm-hmm.
But he's definitely trying to ingratiate himself back into the Trump orbit. But it's also like maybe he never left, and it was one of those spy who came in from the cold situations where he was sort of exiled. But it's like, actually, you have to go do your work in secret out there. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But certainly at the time that this relationship with Epstein was at its height, his star had not fallen as far as it's fallen today. And so, I do got to wonder, like, what, going so immediately from Trump to Epstein is just, and the fact that he talks so much shit about Trump with Epstein, and then Trump has presumably been made aware of some of this stuff, and he just doesn't really seem to care.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the day that some of this stuff came out, he actually he posted a picture of Bannon at the White House on Truth Social.
Yeah, he does not care. I think he doesn't have any reason to care. Like, as far as he is concerned, nothing's going to happen to him. He'll end up being fine. He'll find somebody else to take the fall for it, and then if he does like lose midterms, then he'll figure out who to blame at that point. But yeah, I don't think that I'm pessimistic that there will be any actual consequences for anybody that are in the United States that are in the files. I think that there's some motion going on in Europe and some other countries that are actually following up on some of the leads, and they'll be prosecuting. I don't think that any of the elites in the United States are going to end up facing any true consequences for anything that's in this contained dump of files.
I don't think so either.
Can you give us a sneak preview of what you've accumulated, or are you saving that, leaving that in a holster?
The Bannon, I'm still working on it. Are you talking about with the Bannon stuff?
No, I'm just talking about in general. Because you said you've been working on this project, or I think it's a podcast.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Or it's going to be maybe a video podcast thing. I don't know, because it's going to be
yeah.
some of it is I'm just going through the.
Tease it. Give us a little Chick-fil-A sample. Toothpicking.
I do want to. I've been trying to ask people and interview people, which I'm still waiting on some responses for that, on what Bannon might have been getting up to in Saudi Arabia and any of his Gulf links. But again, it's still pretty early stages. I've just been trying to like get all of the stuff in front of me and read through it, and I just started going through the text messages, not even the emails, with sort of an annotating each of them with which maybe I'll try to do also, like put out some annotated version of them, and give the context for those. But it's you guys know that this is completely not what I'm working on, but Bannon was Biodome.
Yeah.
I don't. What is that?
There's an awesome movie. I think it's called Biodome.
It is Pauly Shore.
Yeah, Pauly Shore's in it. And boy, that's a horny guy in real life. But it was like an experiment of a biodome. It was like a dome where they had these different ecological systems in there, and people lived in there and studied them, and they didn't leave. Bannon's company eventually bought it, and Bannon was actually the person who shut it down. And so they saw Bannon's face on the screen being like, Biodome's over. You guys got to be out by the end of the day. It was a real thing. And then the joke movie was or the comedy movie was about it. But fellas, I gotta go.
Brace, next time we gotta talk more about the ranch, because I feel like we haven't talked.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about the ranch. And then they never rated Zorro Ranch.
They never rated it. And now they
never rated it.
Now the noobs are starting to find out about Zorro Ranch. You're a day one ranch head.
I don't even know.
I'm a
the
day
ranch.
one rancher, dude.
Yeah, you've been talking about the ranch. You've had time.
Oh, Zorro, Big T, we got to take you down to the ranch. They're turning into a Christian retreat, which we respect. We love that.
That's nice.
Although Christians should never retreat. It should be a Christian advance.
Yeah.
But it is. That's kind of where he seems to be, and especially its proximity to the fucking Santa Fe Institute. It seems where he like wanted to turn it into kind of his lab.
Yeah. Yeah, to populate the earth with his progeny and do like actual evil scientist experiments. All right, Brace, thank you for your time. We love you, and
thank you.
It's always nice. I like seeing you on other podcasts. It makes me want you more.
So,
I'm like, I opened up YouTube,
I feel like I'm cheating.
And then you're talking to Sam Cedar, and I'm like, he doesn't treat you like I treat
you.
Crazy
they named him after a Jewish holiday.
That was a fun collab for me because I fuck with Majority Report.
Yeah,
I've been watching it for years, and I seen you, and I was like, "Look at this!" My man.
But fellas, you know what? I got some ideas, man. Why don't I get a few emails together? We'll do another one of these.
Yeah.
And we can go through some
Let's
of
go
them.
Zorro. Let's do
Let's do some
Zorro.
I need to learn about Zorro.
Just a monthly annual Epstein
would
file
love
update.
to.
Yep. All right. Thanks, Brace.
Bye, Brace.
All right, fellas.
Bye,
See ya.
Brace.
See ya.
My dog.
Brace is the best. I was texting with him yesterday to set this up, and he was like, "Yeah, what kind of updates you want to talk about?" I was like, "Pretty much anything that's happened in the last 2 weeks." And then we started talking about the report that came out that the FBI investigated somebody that made an accusation about Trump that was found credible. And I was like, "Yeah, that was my brother's report." And he's like, "Oh shit, that's your brother?" I was like, "Yeah." And so we talked about that a little bit. That's a wild one because little transparency behind the scenes. My brother hit me up on like Sunday or Saturday, and he was like, "Have you seen this in the Epstein Files?" And I was like, "No." And he just sent me a PowerPoint that the FBI put together themselves, and there's like a PowerPoint presentation of why Epstein's being prosecuted, why Maxwell's being prosecuted, and one of the witnesses why they're prosecuting them. Is also a witness that implicated Trump in something. So the government is in a weird place where they can't call that witness unreliable because to do so would mean that their case against Maxwell was unreliable. So they would have to almost throw out that conviction if they were to admit that this.
Christ.
And it's all in the files. Like it's not like this is based on any sourcing or talking to him. That's just like an example of how there's so much shit that's been dumped out there that there's just not enough time to go through it.
Yeah, it's gonna take years to parse through all this. Wasn't the original why he started first getting probed was because two girls in high school got in a fight for calling one like a whore or whatever the case may be, and they figured out why. It was because she was going to the Epstein Island, or the Epstein place. Yeah, so that she was going over there, and they found. I think she was getting money for it, maybe giving Epstein massages or something like that. And then,
two girls got in a fight. One called the other a prostitute. The school went through her wallet and found $300 in cash. And then it was found that it was from Jeffrey Epstein. And about, I believe, 15 other girls in that school were also being victimized in whatever way by Epstein. And that was in, I believe, 2006, which tipped them off. And that was kind of which you could
goes to show you
the straw that broke the camel's back in a weird way.
If we have Mean Girls, if Mean Girls set this whole shit off. So call your fellow student classmates whores. You never know what you're gonna uncover.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of like a big tipping point. And then the Zorro Ranch thing.
Big T, you got to get up to speed on the Zorro Ranch.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it right now. This is the first I've ever heard of.
Oh, yeah. He had a ranch out in the middle of nowhere that was set up to be like a futuristic laboratory for eugenics and designer children and all sorts of crazy shit.
Am I making this up? Did Alan Dershowitz have something big to do with that? Or am I maybe just...
Alan Dershowitz is a very litigious man.
I understand that.
So I will say... that Alan Dershowitz has been in the news a lot recently in regards to the Jeffrey Epstein situations.
Right.
And that Alan Dershowitz did not take off his underwear during the massage. He's been very clear about that. The underwear stayed on.
Cool.
If that's what you were going to ask, let me stop you right there.
But thank you.
The underwear stayed on.
Arian, this Zorro Ranch, not too far from where you grew up, huh?
If you were to create a sex trafficking eugenics paradise, that is a beautiful place to do it.
Weather looks great in the picture I'm seeing.
New Mexico landscape is gorgeous. The sunsets, the sunrises, the topography. It is gorgeous place to with land filled places, low foot traffic. It's a beautiful place. It's beautiful. It's a horrible place to grow up because there's not a lot of shit to do. But for like adults, it's a great little easy town to go away from.
Why don't more people live there?
There's nothing drawn into it. It's a desert. There's no professional sports teams. There's no attractions. It is the center of a big drug trafficking though, because it's the center of I-25 and I-40.
Right.
So a lot of drugs travel through there. So growing up, I was around lots of drugs. I thought it was normal, but apparently it was not.
Mm. What are the what are the top places, if you look at a map of the United States, that make you wonder, like, why don't more people live in this area?
I mean, you're pretty much limited to like here west, right? Because east of here, people do live pretty much everywhere.
People be living. I would say.
I could go the opposite. Why do people?
I would say like
there?
Yeah, I've got a couple for you.
The intersection
New
of
York.
North Carolina, Tennessee. Why don't more people live there?
Yeah, I mean that is the most beautiful part of America.
There you go.
Tennessee is gorgeous.
But I mean, people live there. I guess it's not big cities or anything.
Yeah,
but,
more people should live there.
yeah. No, stop.
It sucks. Don't go there.
Stop. I want to be able to live there someday, so stop going there.
All right, so what's your number one? Why do people live here?
I mean, New York City, if you're not rich,
You live there.
that's how I have perspective to wonder why people do it.
I think a lot of people pull a big T and they're like, yeah, my work's taking me here. This sucks. I don't want to live here anymore. Then they move.
I feel like the sentiment that of living in New York City and not liking it is uncommon.
Really?
I think so.
Maybe it's just the people that
I got
I'm
in an
around.
argument with Bailey Carlin about this one time. Bailey Carlin
man.
was who he loves New York City, and he was like, "There's a reason every person in Nebraska dreams of living in New York City." And I'm like, "Well, I live here. Kind of stinks, be honest with you."
Yeah, I also think that that's very much like a Disneyification of New York. That like everyone
Agreed.
that grows up in small town, like in Omaha suburb, every boy grows up dreaming of the bright lights of Broadway.
Agreed.
I want to make it to the big city, Pop. I want to be on the stage, Pop. Now you're gonna learn to ranch these cattle like your grandpappy. But Pop, I've got a gift. I want to share it with the world. Like there's some people that want to live in New York, but I don't think that it's like. Not everyone's obsessed with your city.
Right.
It's a fine city. It's actually a good city. I like it. I don't want to live there, but you can't really knock what New York has in terms of like all the stuff. It's got everything.
Does have everything.
Do anything that you want in New York City.
Chicago, there are plenty of negatives. I do see why people
And
live
golf
here.
in the winter.
Huh?
Can't golf in the winter.
True.
That's-
But
that's
hey,
true.
look at me today.
Shorts.
Got the shorts on, short sleeves, 60, baby.
Go get you some sun, boy.
I wonder if the
Hell
driving
yeah.
range is open.
Might be.
May
Now
need
you're
to.
talking.
I haven't been out west that much, so I can't, I don't have that perspective.
The Oregon coast to me seems like a lot of real estate. Why don't people live there?
Rains every day.
It's has like the least amount of sunshine days, right? It's very cloudy. That can be a drain on people. I know a lot of people. I am not like this because I love the overcast. A lot of people, their mood is kind of tied to sunshine.
Yeah.
Mine isn't. I feel like it's Mother Earth putting a little blanket over me and tucking me in. I enjoy it, but most people are like, I need sunshine. I feel dreary. I feel bad. High suicide rates. stuff
I
like
would
that.
have said
I'm
I
down
was
for it.
unaffected by that until I moved here, and then you get one 60-degree day in February, and it feels like my entire life has changed.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the sun in
feel
4
you.
months.
I ain't
Black
seen
old
sunshine.
sun, won't you come?
That's interesting. We all thought of a different sun. I was thinking Ain't No Sunshine When She's Gone.
And I was thinking Kid Rock. And you were thinking Soundgarden.
What's the Kid Rock song?
Picture with Sheryl Crow.
Can't say that I've heard it.
Been fueling up on cocaine and whiskey.
I
Wish I-
threw your picture away.
Yeah, it's a good song. Good tune. I would say why don't more people live just in I know there's a lot of people that live there, but San Diego should have more.
Nah. They got enough people.
San Diego everyone should want to live in San Diego.
Beautiful little gym that not a lot of people know about.
So that was a fun conversation with Brace. I love Brace. I am always happy to see him on whatever podcast because he's a delight smart guy, and I can't wait to get into the Zora Ranch. Any last words for today's episode of Macrodosing?
Goodbye.
Love you guys.